trained to have it now. So, look, if you guys, when you get to know peak potential like those guys get to know it, they think we're freaking crazy for the schedule we run. Especially we've decided to add some more stuff so that you guys can be involved. They think we're nuts. Nutso. If you saw our schedule, if you saw one of these warrior trainings and you heard that they were going to be back to back, maybe twice in the summer, you'd freak. You go, how on earth could you or anybody else who's involved? Yet we have to all be there. We have to change the whole crew. Everyone has to change, bring in a whole new set of people. That's how intense the program is. Logistics staff, you know, we have a saying, and the saying says this: we sleep next week. All right, and they love it, and they love it. All right, let's go with this piece over here. I would say one of the number one reasons that many people are not reaching their full financial success is, as I said earlier, they are poor. What's the word? Poor. Literally poor at receiving. At what? Receiving. At receiving. And there's several reasons for this. Number one, the unworthiness or the undeserving issue. All right? Now, let's put this to bed a little right now. At one of our camps, which we don't like to say what's in our camps because we like to keep you present and keep things surprised. At one of our programs, when that comes up, one of the things we do is we send people out into the forest. People say, well, you know, I'm not worthy and I don't feel deserving, I have self-esteem issues, whatever, which almost everybody has. So we send them out in the forest and with a project. The project is this: find the best tree and come back and report your findings. So they're out there for half an hour looking for the best tree. And to a T, just about everybody comes back with the same findings. What was the finding? There's no best tree. They're all different, yet every one is just as good as the other. One is not worse because there's a crooked branch. Or one is not better because it's got more leaves or more colorful leaves, or it's taller or shorter, right? They're all the same. They all come from the same place. They're all the same thing. They're just a tree. They're supposed to look the way they look. There's no better or worse trees. Is this making sense? Yes or no? They are part of nature. Are you part of nature? Well, that's the thing. Go find me a better squirrel. You're going to have a hard time coming out. This one's better because it has bigger teeth. No, this one's got a bigger tail. No, this one looks smarter. You understand? It's ridiculous. A squirrel is a squirrel, and a tree is a tree, and a human is a human. And they're all one thing. You can't be better or worse than anything or anybody else. What? Well, this one's got a crooked branch. Yeah? And your point is? So what? Maybe branches are supposed to be crooked. The weirdo is the straight one. Who knows? Crooked, what's the difference? Same with you. You aren't worthy because of the way you look, or because of what you do, or how much money you have or you don't have. You are worthy because you are alive and you are breathing right now. And because the Great Spirit chose to put you on this earth right this moment and keep you breathing right now for a reason. You don't have to know the reason, but you must be worth something if you're still breathing. Does that make any sense? Yeah. So, therefore, since you are as worthy as the next person, you are also as deserving to receive as anyone else or everyone else. Does that make any sense? Yes or no? Yes. All right, so here's the thing. I want you to look around right now and find me the best person. Point to the best person. Go ahead. Point to the best person. How many of you pointed to somebody else? How many pointed to yourself? You don't get it yet. Where's the best person? Yeah, they're all the same. You think a tree is going to point to itself, I'm the best tree? Why? Because I've got straighter branches? No. See, once you create the judgment, now you've in the comparison, now you've got the problem going again. Because if you're the best, because you say you're the best, then you can also be the worst. There is no best. You get it? Let me just say this loud and clear. You're not the best, and you're not the worst. You're equal. You're the same as everybody. You just look a little different. There's the same energy going on. It's the same life force. There's no better tree. There's no better people. Now, you might have a different opinion of that. You're welcome to it. If it supports you, great. If it doesn't support you, you might have a look around and just notice how everything is neutral. Merlin, I told you, my mentor, Merlin, said you can learn everything you need to know in life simply by walking in the forest. That's what a lot of our camps are about, in the forest. You'll learn. It's okay, let's try it again. I want you to point to the best person in this room. Okay, you're starting to get it. You got it? Yes. All right, you're not better, you're not worse. You're equal to deserving. You're breathing. If you're breathing, you're on equal par. The next rationale that most people, they don't believe that they deserve, to receive and whatnot, is they heard this conditioning. And tell me if you heard anything like this. The saying that says this, it's better to give than to... Anybody heard something like that? Okay. Let me just say this. What a bunch of horse pooey that is. Oh my God. Whoever said that is just really bad at math. All right, just figure this out for just a second. Challenge these things just a little bit. Better to give than receive. Let me ask you a question. If there is a giver, does there have to be a receiver? Of course. If there is a receiver, does there have to be a giver? 50-50. For each one of these, there has to be one of these. How on earth can one be better than the other if you need the other one there to be alive? You can't have a giver without a receiver. You can't have a receiver without a giver. How on earth could one be better than the other? Better to give than to receive? What does that mean? Just this mean your math is poor. It can't be any better. They're two sides of the same thing. Let me ask you this now. Let me ask you this question. How does it feel when you are giving? How many people say it feels very fulfilling and good? Yes or no? Yes. Good. Then here's the thing. Since there must be a receiver for that giving, when you are not willing to receive, you are ripping off that other person from giving. And that feeling that they get, that good feeling, you have ripped them off from that. So all you people who think it's so much better to give than to receive, if you're not willing to receive, think about it twice. Get your calculator out. When you're not willing to receive, you're ripping somebody else off from giving. And here's the thing. You're also training, what's the word? Training. The universe not to give to you. The universe supports what you want. And when you say, I'm not willing to receive, I'm not worthy, when you play that song and dance because you didn't know before, that's okay, except now you know. You can't play the song and dance anymore. So here's the deal. When you say that, the universe says, oh, okay, then we'll just pass you over. Now here's the thing. The universe is totally abundant. Yes or yes? I mean, look at all the trees out there. Look at when it rains. I mean, there's lots. And so here's the thing. When it rains, let's say you say, oh, I don't want any of that rain to hit me, so I'm going to put up an umbrella. So you put up an umbrella. Let me ask you a question. Does the rain hit you now? No. But what happens all around you in a nice big circle of where the umbrella is? Does the amount of rain that was going to come on you that now goes over there, does that go over there now, or does it somehow disappear? It goes around you. Some more goes all around you, doesn't it? Same thing. When you're not willing to receive, guess what? The universe says, okay, next. Oh, you're not willing to receive? Good. Are you? Yeah, okay, you can take his share. Because it's going to give. The rain's coming, yes or no? So I'm going to make a declaration right now, just because I like doing this, because there's so many people here, because it really helps my life. So, universe, listen closely. If there's anybody in this room who is not willing to receive their share, please, I'm happy to take it. Very open to receiving it. Okay? Instructions. Or you can just take your piece. Fair enough? You get it, yes or no? Yes. You can play the victim, but you can play somewhere else, not with us. It's an old tape. It's an old conditioning. It's better to give than to receive. You're a better person if you're a giver. You're not. You're not a better person if you're a giver. You're not a better person if you're a receiver. You can't be either or. Okay? They're just all one and the same thing. Two sides of the same coin. So you might as well receive. Because you know what? Here's my experience, and you may not agree with this, that's okay. People who are lousy receivers, they're lousy givers too. How you do anything is how you do everything. You're lousy at it, you're lousy at it. You understand? Because when they don't give with a clean heart. They give with an agenda very often. I'm a better person now. Great, go ahead, buy that. I don't buy it. You want to buy it, buy it. Now, I hope I'm not stepping on too many toes here, but if I am, I hope I'm stepping really hard. So you get this. Giving is wonderful, and receiving is just as wonderful. You have to be a fantastic giver, and then you have to be a fantastic receiver. Both. It's no use playing the opposite side of the coin here, because it doesn't work. There was a question here?
On an airplane, you're supposed to give yourself oxygen first, right?
You give yourself oxygen first?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Because you can't help anybody if you're dead.
Exactly. Good point. Did you hear what he said? He said in an airplane, they ask you to make sure you give yourself oxygen first because you can't help anybody if you're dead. Very good. Another way of putting it, so give him a hand. That was an excellent thought. All right, so if you really want to help people, then you got to be able to receive too. Okay, good. So let's do this. Let's talk about receiving here in the fact that we are creatures of what? I can't hear you. Habit. So the key is you have to practice. What's the word? Practice. You have to practice receiving elegantly and enthusiastically, yes? So you can basically give a strong message to the universe that you are willing to receive. Absolutely. So here's the first way you practice. You practice with this little baby right here. This is your receiving practice. So those of you savers, hoarders in here, they were figuring, oh, I'll put maybe a little in here, but I'll take most of it and put it into my FFA. Sorry, it doesn't work. You have to practice receiving. You gotta blow this off in a way that's gonna really empower you to feel nurtured and that you've received. Does that make sense, yes or no? That's why I say do things that are a little unusual for you, a little bit out of the ordinary, a little bit fantastic, that have some juice and some energy for you. The next way is this. The next way you practice is this. My own story is very interesting. When I was broke and I saw a penny on the ground, I can tell you right now, I would never stoop so low as to pick up a lousy penny. Because you know what? I thought that meant that I was settling for this, and this is the amount. Because I had heard you should keep $1,000 bills with you to make you feel rich. I tried that. I didn't feel rich. I just felt like I had a $1,000 bill I didn't want to lose. You know what I'm saying? What can I tell you, right? I saw a penny, it was like, a penny, what's that? It's very interesting, though, that now that I'm extremely wealthy, when I see a penny, I have a party. I am totally jazzed. I pick it up. Right away, I go, thank you. I kiss it. Mwah, I am a money magnet. Right? Because you know what? A penny is money. Do you understand that? And any money is any money. I don't care if it's a penny, a loonie, $10, $100, $1,000. I'll take it all. I don't want to sit in judgment over the amount. I'll take it all. So I get really excited when I see a penny. Now, I'll tell you what. Anyone around me knows that if there's any money around and nobody's claimed it, I'm going to claim it immediately. Right? I'll ask, is this anybody's? No, great, it's mine now. Thank you. You are so nice to me. You just shower me with money, right? And I look at everything as a symbol for that. Do you understand what I'm saying, right? So I used to be in judgment. That's a penny, that's $1, that's $100. I'm not in judgment. Money is money. I'll take and receive graciously and gratefully. All money's given. All of it. And very enthusiastically. So, here's what I want you to do. Let's do a little eyes closed visualization, declaration type of thing. So we're going to practice. So close your eyes. And let's assume for a second that somehow you end up finding a penny or something. And so close your eyes. And let's say these following declarations. So you'd be practicing internally again. So you find a penny. What are you going to say? I am a money magnet. Let me hear you.
I am a money magnet.
Money comes to me easily.
Money comes to me easily.
I'm willing to receive all amounts of money.
I'm willing to receive all amounts of money.
All right? Now make sure that when you understand this, because it doesn't matter what the amount is. Eyes are closed, eyes are closed. So the idea here is the energy around the money. How excited can you get, even with a simple penny, even with a quarter, even with a dime, anything that even looks like a penny? How excited can you get? How wild and crazy can you symbolize this? Nothing has meaning except for the meaning you give it, so you might as well mean everything for you. And really understand and make it mean that when money comes your way, any amount whatsoever, that you've attracted, that you are a money magnet. Money comes to you easily, effortlessly. You are a money magnet, right? You just simply say, thank you, I'm willing to accept it all. Are you willing to start doing that?
Yes.
Are you willing to start doing that?
Yes.
All right, if you open your eyes now, you can now physically practice doing that on a physical level. So see if you can find 1 or 2 pennies around. Come on up here, go on back there, celebrate them. Did anybody find any money? So what do you have to say about that? Let me just say this. The more excited you can be, the more gracious and grateful you can be. The universe gets a very strong message that says, this person is grateful for everything that's given. Let's give them more. All right, listen closely. Shh. Because for those people who are not grateful for what they get, what does the universe say? There's no reason to give them more. They're not even grateful for what they've got. Does that make sense? All right, here. Let me ask you a question. Raise your hand if you just found yourself to be a money magnet. All right. Now, here's your practice. Your practice is whenever you find any money whatsoever, I want you to literally freak out. I want you to get so enthusiastic, so wildly crazy, because you know what? I mean, some of you might, but I say for the most part, it's not an every single day occurrence, right? To find money, you know? But I'll tell you what, the more enthusiastic and the more grateful you can be, and the more I'm a money magnet you can put into this, you might think it sounds hokey. You just watch how often money starts coming your way. In all ways and shapes and sizes, too. You don't worry about it's a penny, 1,000, or whatever. Money will just start being attracted to you. Why is that? Because like attracts, and if you're, and how you do anything is how you do everything, right? Therefore, if you're a person who finds money, guess what you become? A person who what? Finds money. You're a person who finds opportunities. All those things. But you know what? If you're not going to be grateful, enthusiastic when you find it, why on earth do you need any more? Got it? Here's my experience. When I was broke, a penny, forget about it. Now, I don't care if it's a penny, a dime, a nickel, a dollar, I don't care what it is. I am grateful and I show it. And it just seems that more keeps just piling on. And I'm totally grateful for that. I'm totally blessed. But I'm telling you how it worked for me and how it's worked for now 40,000 other people. Now, I can tell you, here's the deal. During the rest of the seminar, I want you to report about any monies found. All right? I think there was one gentleman who just, what were you saying? Nice and loud here.
When we came in from the break after buying the CDs and stuff, and I'd spent the money on the CD, I looked under the chair here and I saw a $10 note, and I asked the people around me if anyone had it, and no one claimed it, so it's in my pocket now.
All right, come on, very good. Now, that's excellent.
It fell out of the...
Let me tell you what a lot of people would do. Not anymore, but they would have done. They take the $10, they go to the back, and they say, can you make an announcement somebody lost their $10 bill? Now, that's an okay way to do it. It's okay to do it. I'm not saying there's a right way and there's a wrong way, because you can do that too, can't you? At the same time, if it was me and I did do that, I'd put a post-it note to say, because if nobody claims it in the next 3 minutes, it's mine. Yes? Totally, great, because the universe is saying that's your money. Right? What was that joke? Oh yeah, that story, I never told this before. You know that one where there's a priest and a bishop and a rabbi, and they're all together and they're talking about how they donate to God. And so the priest says that what I do is I draw a circle, a 6-foot circle all around me, and I throw up all the money from the church. And whatever lands in the circle is mine, and whatever lands out of the circle is God's. All right. So the bishop says, that's good. I do something very similar. I draw the same circle around me, and I throw up all the money. And whatever lands outside the circle is mine, and whatever lands inside the circle is God's. The rabbi says, not bad. What I do is I draw a circle, I throw the money up, whatever God wants, he keeps, whatever falls to the ground is mine. There's no right and wrong, but one way gets rich, right? Okay, good. And let's begin. I create my life. Give me a high five and say, you have a millionaire mind. So how many people here think it might be a really good idea and empowering to your success and your happiness to ingrain and live by those principles? Yes or yes? Yes. Who decides what principles you're going to live by? There you go. Who's in charge? Now, someone gave me this, and they didn't put a name on it, and I would love to see who this is. So if you gave me this sheet, I'm not going to say the first part right now, but the second part says, I am a happy and thankful receiver for something that you want. Just stand up so I can see where you are. Is that you? Is this accurate? That's amazing. Why don't you tell them what happened to you as a part of the magnet that you are here?
Well, my name's Kathleen, and I am a money magnet. Actually, after the teaser night, I really thought that this whole thought leads to feelings, leads to actions, leads to results thing made a lot of sense. And I was trying to lose some weight, and I figured I needed to work real hard on my thoughts. So I entered a contest and really fixed my mind on the thought that I was going to win this thing, and I did.
When did you find this out?
At the break.
So at the break here at the course, tell them what you won.
$5,000 US and a trip to the Caribbean.
All right, good job.
Thank you. I am an enthusiastic and grateful receiver.
You better be. Very good. There you go. So I don't know if y'all heard that. She won $5,000 US plus 3 days in the Caribbean, all paid for. Good or good? Yeah, very nice. Oh, I'll tell you about tomorrow. There's a little letter from someone, and we talk about success tracks. On success tracks, we work on intentions, very heavily on intentions and the power of intentions. So this fella, I'm not going to blow up for it. I'll read it for you tomorrow. But I mean, it's like he put an intention down there. It was like, oh my God, it just happened, right? It was huge. Okay, so this is another one of my favorite parts of the program. They're all my favorite, but until tomorrow. I love this video that you're going to watch right now. I love it because there's so much you're going to learn by watching this. Plus, it is so freaking hilarious. If you have to go pee, I understand, okay? It is so funny, okay? Are you willing to play? Yes. All right. Are you ready? I can't hear you. Are you ready? Yes. Hit it, guys. Good job, good job. Was that funny or what? Isn't that cute? How many of you learned something? Good, good, good. One of my favorites. All right, now listen closely. Do you remember that they talked about in the video about different money personalities, yes? Yes. Now, what were they? There was the hoarder saver group. There was the spender group. There was the avoiders, who just kind of want to avoid the whole subject. And she also talked about these things called money monks. They kind of feel like money's a little dirty, a little beneath them. You know, they're a little over too spiritual for money. That whole game bothers them. So here's the thing. Even though we very often have a mix of all of them, generally we lean towards one more than the others. So you will need to choose the one group that fits you the most, even though you might have a mix of something, the one group that fits you the most. So listen how this is going to work. All of my savers and hoarders, you're going to go to that corner over there. All of my money monks are going to go to that corner over there. All of my spenders are going to go to that corner over there. And all of my avoiders are going to go to that corner over there. Choose one. Go! Now what we're going to do is, because the groups are large, we're going to split them up into smaller groups. You're going to stay in the name that you're in. Just for the exercise, you're going to be doing the exercise in smaller groups so it's easier for everyone to be involved. Is that okay? All right. Here's how this is going to work. Listen closely. I'm going to ask each of these subgroups to pick a spokesperson. A what? A spokesperson that's going to be reporting after. Also, this spokesperson is going to now receive pads of paper and a pencil, and you are going to write down the following as it comes up here. Number one, come up with one characteristic or word that describes your group other than the personality name. So in other words, you guys here are the spenders. What's another way of describing spenders, or other than the actual, hold on. Drunk isn't one of them, okay? So what's another word that you're going to have, a characteristic or word that describes the group, okay? Now, the next thing you're going to come up with is what are some of the positives about your money personality? Some of the positives. Number three is what are some of the not so positives? Let's call them negatives or non-supportive aspects about your money personality. And number four, what specific actions can you take to become more balanced regarding money as a group? All right? Now, here's the deal. There's 4 questions. You're going to decide on the answers together as a group, as a subgroup. Yes, for your group. Yes? Yes. Here's how we do this. So what's going to happen is you're going to discuss this as a group. I'm going to give you the lowdown here. I'm going to be so nice to you this course because it's your opening course with us. You know, this is our opening bell, our entry-level program. So I'm extra nice to you this weekend. So I'm going to give it to you right now. Listen closely. How you do anything is how you do what? Everything. Watch how you play this game. Watch how you play this game. In other words, this. Are you a leader? Are you a follower? Are you a supporter? Are you in the middle of the group? Are you in the back of the group? Are you not even in the group? Are you participating or are you not participating? I said it's a participative event, yes? Yes. 100% participation, yes? Yes. We'll find out how you play because the mirror's up. Now, some people, you know, if they're not in the middle, if they can't hear there, what do? Well, they give up and they start moseying around. Nah, I can't hear it. They don't want to hear from me. Or their suggestion gets shot down. That's it. I'm gone. So I'm giving you the clues right now to watch yourself. Anything upsets you, anything not going your way, you take a nice deep breath. You stay in the frickin' game. Got it? Yes or no? Yes. People are going to become wimps. All right, here's how you do this. Get in your group, 100% participation. Everybody's involved. work together as a team to answer the questions. You will have a grand total of 7 minutes. And begin. So, let's begin with the Saber Hoarder. All right. What was the one characteristic or word that describes your group other than the personality name?
Sensible.
Sensible. Ooh. All right. Now, doesn't that sound, the way she said it was like really sexy, don't you think? I'm sensible. Yes, what did you have? Shh.
We came up with an extra long word, cautious, resourceful.
Cautious, resourceful. Wonderful. Makes no sense, but great. That's great. All right, good, good. All right, right over here.
All right, everybody, check this one out from the same group, of course. Focused survivors of delayed gratification. What do you think, Harv?
Now, shh. All right, now, these guys aren't too analytical, are they? These guys are going, what do they mean? And these guys are going, have we started yet? What's happening here? In the back, they're going, look at them, they're sitting there. All in, look, their legs are crossed. Perfect, right? Yes. Would you guys be more comfortable if you could put your legs behind your back or your head or something? Does that make you feel better? There you go.
She can do it. She can do it.
All right, good. Now let's go over here, starting in the middle, with some of the positives about your money personality in the middle.
We pay our bills, we're proactive, we're responsible, we're secure, and we're reliable and debt-free.
Ooh, cool. Okay, right here, next.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to add to that. We are definitely focused, we're frugal, we're definitely tenacious, we're in control, and we are goal-orientated.
Ooh, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. Okay, right
that's
here.
for sure.
Yeah. Right. You got any more?
I just learned what frugal means.
All right.
We have money. We're good receivers. We have security, peace of mind, a good credit rating.
Look. They're going, is there such a thing?
My husband would dispute that. We don't get any third notices. We have money for rainy days. We're never broke, and we're planners.
Very good, very good. Good. Excellent. All righty now. We're starting with this gentleman over here with some of the not so supportive aspects of your money personality.
There were so few, yeah. We are slightly over-analytical. We are demanding. We are a little afraid to take risks. Thank you. And occasionally, we miss opportunities sometimes.
Okay, right over here.
Yeah.
In the front, right there.
It's sometimes hard to enjoy yourself. We have some guilt and some anxiety about spending money and a lot of pressure in our lives to save money.
Right over here, next.
We tend to frustrate other people. We live in the future and not in the present, and we can be a little uptight and have some guilt.
Very good. Good notices. Excellent work. Very good. Good. And we're starting back in the front over here.
Sorry.
And what are some of the specific actions you can take to be more balanced regarding money?
Our hugest one was the play jar.
Play jar.
Huge.
Very good. Good.
Everybody agreed on that one. The give jar, we can relax. Education, to learn how to spend money. We can reward ourselves. We could lighten up. using our jar system is
Okay,
another
pass
one.
Pass it over so she gets a chance too.
I said the same thing. We said we need a play jar.
Play chart, good.
Learn how to manage our money.
Manage it, yes. And right over here.
Just a couple. We should practice some spontaneity for sure. And
Practice.
it makes perfect, doesn't it?
Are you guys ready to be spontaneous now? Let's do a dry run of this spontaneity here, okay? All right, let's just have a dress rehearsal first, all right? Let's talk about and plan the spontaneity first. Okay, good. Okay.
They didn't like that one.
Practice.
Our planned spontaneity is to buy assets to fund our fun.
That sounds good. Got a fun to fun.
We'll be here all weekend. Thank you.
Very good. All right, big round of applause. Good job, you guys. Very good. Okay. Let's hear from the money monks over here. Because you know why? Because normally they're very patient. So, we're going to get them involved right away. All right, so right up here, and start with the word or characteristic that describes your group's name other than the actual name itself.
If anybody's interested, we're offering classes on some meditation techniques that we've developed in our 7 minutes that we were, because of course we were well ahead of everything.
All right, how about the name? Are you ahead of that? Get to the frickin' name, all right? Go.
It seems you could learn a lesson patience.
All right. Good. Thank you, Money Monks. Here we go. You have one more shot at it. Let's go.
Okay. We're the spiritually righteous.
No kidding. Good.
All right,
What are some of the positive aspects of your money personality?
The positives, we said we were caring, not obsessive. We receive and give well. We're laid back, relaxed. It's all by donation. And we're also creative in our own way. Some of our negatives were boring, apparently. We tend to avoid money on the whole. Withdrawn, self-sacrificing, sometimes martyrs, and ridiculously righteous most of the time.
Very good, very good. Any aspects, what are some of the specific actions you can take?
Well, basically taking action would be great.
That's about as specific as you guys get, so that's good. That's a good start.
Well, we worked on it, you see. We said that we could use a play jar more. That was a good one. Celebrate more. Focusing on our teachings to create a business, perhaps.
Perhaps. Okay.
Sometime in the future, maybe.
All right, that's it. Give them a big round of applause. Good work. Very good. Very good. Okay. Good job. Excellent work. All right. Let's go to the avoider. Look, if you keep them quiet for too long, they get very, very claustrophobic, audio claustrophobia, that's the thing about them. They love to talk, right? Take a spender, just keep them quiet and just watch what happens. You're gonna have problems. Move a little bit this way so everyone can see you. So these are the avoiders who are hiding behind the thing there, right? All right, I need to be able to see you, so hold on, here. You stay here and you make a line this way a little bit more. Good. You got it, good. Shh. All right, let's make sure we don't make a mistake.
Okay, if there's, my name is Ben, and if there's a phrase that we came up with, it's ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance.
But if there's a word, it's whatever.
Whatever, good. All right. And the characteristic or word that you came up with to describe your personality?
On a close vote, 12 to 10, it was fence sitters.
Fence sitters. Very good, good. And right here, what'd you have?
We had ostriches.
The ostriches, yes.
I just want to add, we don't know if this ostrich actually lays golden eggs because we've never looked to see if it has eggs yet.
Right, good. All right, so we're starting right here now with you, sir. And we're going to go into some of the positives about your money personality.
No stress. Place blame elsewhere. Intimate relationships with customer service. Ignorance is bliss. Developed negotiation skills.
Hold on, let's go over here now.
We are easygoing. We are good at delegating. Kids love us. We love education, but not around money. One day at a time. We live one day at a time.
Okay, let's pass it over. Good.
Well, we had quite a list. Show us a surprise. Don't get upset. Delayed stress. Trust in your partner. Creative financing. Worry-free but poor. Easygoing risk takers, but quite resourceful.
Very good. Give him a hand. Excellent. All right. Some of the not so supportive aspects about your money personality are?
Well, we don't open our bills or statements, so we don't know where we stand.
That's true.
We're not really very good money managers because we don't even know how much we have. We assume that it's more expensive to live this way because we pay a lot of late fees and interest and things from not paying attention.
Okay, let's pass it over.
Okay, we duplicated on a couple of those where desperation could happen anytime. We're easily led, oblivious to pretty much anything. False sense of security, procrastination, vulnerable to late charges, extra credit charges, payday loans, and disorganized.
That's about it. Okay.
We haven't gotten to the negatives yet. Missed opportunities, panic and anxiety, anger and turmoil, resentment, non-committal.
All right. So you're going to start over here, and let's go to the last one.
The actions we can take is open our mail.
Let's start.
And then we're going to set up a money management system using some jars that we heard about. We're going to take some responsibility, balance our checkbooks, get some good role models to model ourselves after.
Good. Pass it over right here.
Automate your banking so the bills automatically come out every month. Get education, set budgets, set timelines, hire an accountant.
All right, pass it over.
Start up the money management program with the jars, of course, most importantly. Take responsibility, educate, and gain clarity.
Very good. Give him a big round of applause. All right. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. So, what? No. So, you know what? I promise we will get to you next course, okay? Not a problem, okay? So what we're going to do right now is we're going to be taking a break. And hey. Okay. All right. You just have to let them expend their energy just a little bit. All right. We're starting right over here with what was the word or the characteristic that you had other than the name of your money personality was what?
We are the economy stimulators.
Economy stimulators. Very good. Good. Right here.
Spontaneous.
Spontaneous. Very good.
We're the justifiers.
Justifiers. Excellent.
We are the frickin' economy drivers.
Very good. All right. Some of the positive aspects of your money personality, in case you guys could come up with any.
Well, we are the people that drive the economy. We're players, movers, shakers, go-getters, trendsetters. We get what we want. We're givers, and we like immediate gratification.
Very good. Pass it on. Okay, let's try to keep this to the financial side versus the sexual side, if that's all right. Okay, good. That's good. Especially for the guys. Right here.
We live in the now. We have a joie de vivre. We're adventurous, well-dressed, bulk bargain hunters. We have fabulous taste. We're relaxed or stressed, depending upon the time.
All right, that's good. Let's pass it over so they have some excellent ones.
We're creative, we're big-hearted, we're generous, and we're spontaneous, and we like to look good.
Good. Over here. Now, hold on. They're not saying anything about you guys. This is about them, okay? Good.
We're Harv's primary source of income.
And everyone else's.
We seize the day. We have a lot of new stuff. We are good receivers. We are the Joneses. We work hard and we play hard.
Very good. All right. Starting over here, yes. We're going to go to some of the not so positive aspects of your money personality.
Unfortunately, it's only short-term gratification. Half the time we're broke, constant bills, extremely irresponsible. I always suffer buyer's remorse. We're pack rats as well, and we're never satisfied.
Very good. Over here.
We are high risk, impulsive. We lack discipline. We're indulging, and we are under a lot of stress.
Okay, good. Pass it over. The first person again.
For us, it's feast, then famine. We're generally broke. We create deck, and we're fast starters and slow finishers.
All right, good. Next.
We pay more GST. We can be disorganized. We're often broke in debt from our impulsive buying. We always want more and are never satisfied. There's always another good deal to be had.
Very good. Good job, man. Good.
Are we on the actions for balance now?
We are now.
Okay.
On the actions.
We need to budget. We need more education, dedication to the money management system. We need to simplify, and we need to get rid of this phrase out of our vocabulary. He who dies with the most toys wins.
All right. Pass it over.
We need to simplify our necessities, know the difference between our wants and our needs. We need to simplify. We need to do our auto debit every single month.
Very good.
One of the things we need to learn is to tell the difference between the play jar and the necessity jar.
All one to you.
That was a great part of this jar system as opposed to ours.
We had marry a hoarder and start arguing.
Marry a hoarder.
All right.
Well, actually, just so you know, we don't do any more work on money and relationships. We actually just match you guys up. You don't have to worry about it, right?
Excellent. And then we had FFA jars and LTSS jars, and stick to the seminar plan.
It's not that depressing, okay?
Yeah.
And there's the FFA. All right, are you done?
I'm done.
One more right here.
Okay.
We have something else we could buy. Assets.
Assets. Very good. Big round of applause for the spender. Okay. So a couple of thoughts in general. Now again, these are generalizations. You can pick and choose what works for you. So let's talk about the hoarders and the savers. What's their big trait? Responsible, right? What's the word? Responsible. Their life is about responsible. Again, they get the bank statement in the mail. They generally reconcile it to the penny each month. You say RRSP and they glow with pride and say, which one? They're out for dinner with a group. The bill comes and they check it twice with their handy pocket calculator, which they all have. And they divide it up perfectly among the group because it has to be fair and everyone has to be responsible for their own. Now, here's the issue is that they've got plenty of money, but the irony is they don't need it because they don't do anything with it. Yes, and of course your big action is to what? Use which jar? The play jar. Which is it? The play. Hello, which is it? Thank you, the play jar, and put money into there every month. All right, let's talk about the spenders. They first of all loved being talking about, right? So money is often an emotional scapegoat for this group. Spending comes from the word expending, as in expending emotions. So that's what they're generally releasing, emotions. And there's a saying that says, when the going gets tough, the tough go shopping. Somehow they know that. Of course, my wife calls this retail therapy. Their big word in their life is the F word. It stands for what? Freedom. What's the word? Freedom. The word responsible makes this group puke. Now, here's the thing. The bank statement comes to them and they take a quick look at it. If it seems close, it's okay. But you know what? It's usually pretty easy addition for them. Yeah, I think that's pretty close. That's about right. You say RRSP and they go, next year, for sure. Or they don't even say it right. My wife still calls it an RSVP. Honey, are we getting one of those RSVPs this year? No, we're not invited, okay? Oh, I wanted to go to that. Everyone else is going. This group often eats at very cool but pricey restaurants with all their friends, because they have lots of what? Friends. And when the bill comes, they have no problem picking up the tab for everyone, including the next table, which they only said hi to, right? They're nice. Let's get the tab. Their favorite phrase in the world is, it's only money, or you only live once. Their not so favorite phrase is, I can't right now, I'm broke. And of course the key is balance, and their big jar is which one? FFA. What is it? FFA. Good job, good job. Let's talk about the avoiders. They're going, what, did we start already? What, where are we? Is it dinner time yet? All right, avoiders. As the name suggests, they tend to avoid the entire subject of money. It's very easy to recognize these folks because, as they mentioned, they don't even open the bank statement when it arrives. You say RRSP to these guys, and they think you're talking about some kind of mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. When the bill comes to the table at a restaurant, they generally throw down their credit card and pay without even ever looking and checking the bill. The thing for this group is to realize you're in the game no matter what. If you're born in this society, you're in the game. So you might as well play to what? To win. And of course, the big thing for you guys is your 20 to 30 minute a day commitment to managing and investing your money as a part-time business to get in the game. Got it? Yes? All right, good job for them. Let's talk about the money monks. Look at them. Now again, these are generalizations, but generally the money monks see money as a little on the scuzzy side. You know, they don't feel that money and spirituality mix really well. It's a little beneath them to deal with this stuff. Actually, some of them actually lose the game of money as a way of suffering. You know, they believe that suffering is actually good and it will gain them brownie points when they get to heaven. As for the bank statement, what bank? They don't believe in banks because banks are part of the establishment. You say RRSP and they might consider it, but first I have to check my horoscope. The bill comes at the restaurant, they will pick up the tab out of love as long as you didn't order any meat. So the key for this group, again, is to get in the game, get grounded, and understand this. I have a question for all of you here. This is one of the really critical parts you all have to get here. Raise your hand, no matter what group you're in, if you perceive yourself to be quite a spiritual person. Raise your hand. Good. All right, so a lot of you said that. Now here's the question. In Ayurvedic philosophy, the philosophy that Deepak Chopra deals with and all that, you know that one, right? In Ayurvedic philosophy, what the Veda actually says is this. It says that the universe is abundant. The universe is what? Abundant. Therefore, if the universe is abundant and you're not, the question is, how connected could you really be? Do you get it, yes or no? Yes. This is a very deep point. I'll say it again. If the universe is abundant and you're not, the question is, how connected could you really be? So what the Vedic philosophy simply says is that abundance is natural. Abundance is part of spirituality. Abundance is part of being connected to this entire wonderful and abundant universe. Does that make any sense? So here's my thoughts. You really want to be spiritual? Get freaking rich. Rich, wealthy, lots of money, and then you can say, I'm connected. Look how I'm connected. Because you know what? You don't have to believe anything here, but all the other stuff, to me, is a bunch of, let's call it, religious information that comes from people who have maybe other motives necessarily than necessarily your pure connection with spirit. I'm not saying anybody's bad here. Do you get it? But there's ways and rules and agendas and all that thing that gets in the way. Look, you want to learn about life, you walk into nature. Nature is very abundant. That make any sense? All right, very good. So, now, in conclusion, 2 very specific principles for everyone. The first rule is this. What's it say, please? Balance. So balance. The second one is this. Have this. What's it say, please? Preset structure. I want to hear everyone to hear it. What does it say? Preset. Have a preset structure. Why is a preset structure so important? Who said that? Of course, one of ours. Yes, that's right. Listen closely. The idea is to win the game in spite of yourself. In spite of your personality, in spite of your conditioning, in spite of your program, in spite of anything. Yes or yes? Yes. How do you do that? Like Chris said, you take yourself out of the game in here. Understand? Here's what I mean. Don't be thinking. The more you think in the way you normally think, the less chance you'll be winning the game. Winning the money game takes how much thinking? 0, nothing, nada. It's a mechanical game. Do you understand? Here's the jars/account. There's your check. You divide it. That's it. When your thinking, quote unquote, gets in the way is when you decide you have a better idea than the system. And so here you are, you're doing it for a week, and the next week you're a little short or you're a little light. And so you come up with a new idea that says, you know what, I'll just pass on this month, but next month I'll put in double. Bingo, you just lost the game. You understand? So the idea is, I'm going to say it, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Thinking is very hazardous to your wealth. In fact, one of my new books is called this, listen closely, Don't Think and Grow Rich. Do you understand that the system doesn't have a personality like we do? Does that make sense? The system doesn't change its mind. The system does none of those things. So all of your good thoughts are basically undermining the process of you winning the game. So I'm going to repeat it. To win the game, you use the system, the preset structure, and you take your opinions and thoughts out of the game. That way you are absolutely certain to win it, despite yourself. Does that sound like a good idea, yes or no? Yes. Okay, give yourself a big round of applause. Okay, now just so you'll know, this is an essential game that we played here. It says we had a woman who was helping out in Seattle. She had come to this course in Vancouver a little while ago, and she said that this game totally changed her whole family's life. They had herself, her husband, and her son, who was 16 years old, David. And they always had bitter arguments about money all the time. And in this game, they realized that all of them were in different groups. And so now they understood what the other person's coming from and where they're coming from. And now that they know that, let's say, for example, that David is an avoider, or that their husband was a spender and she was the hoarder, they understand where the other person's coming from. Does that make any sense? Is that helpful, yes or no? I have a question for you. How many of you, whether your mate or friend is here or not, have a close person who you know is in the other groups? Now you know. They call it polarization, but now you know what the issue is. Again, we make the invisible visible. The invisible what? Visible. All right. Now, there was a lot that we learned from the video on money relationships, but I want to just touch on a few basics of this money and relationships and go over that a bit more, because in my experience, everyone's got relationships, whether it's with a partner, whether it's with a mate, whether it's with kids, with anything of any other sort. We deal with people, and when we deal with people, there's always money involved generally, yes or yes? Yes. So regardless of the situation of who you're dealing with, here's some thoughts that might assist you in dealing with people and money. So the first thing is this. The first key is this word. What's it say, please? One more time, twice as loud. Understanding. Understanding. Understanding that everyone has their own money blueprint, their own programming, their own conditioning, their own past, their own beliefs, their own fears, their own meanings for money. Yes or yes? Yes. You do and they do. And when you understand that they have their own, and that they're basically invested or bought into that way of thinking and being, especially if they haven't come to this program, then you can understand that what's manifesting of what they want and what they're doing and how they're acting is nothing more than a what? A program. A what? Program. And it's not who they are. It isn't them. They're underneath the program. So when you're upset with them, you're not upset with them. You're upset with their what? With their program, with their blueprint. Does that make a difference? You understand that? And there's a big distinction there. And when you can understand someone else, then you can separate who they are from their blueprint. Then there's a real good shot that you can come together on certain things. Now, again, the key is that you have to take responsibility for your own thinking, your own way of being, your own blueprint, and not make, here's the clincher, them wrong. Not make them what? Wrong. Not make them wrong. Because they're just doing their thing. And the real problem generally comes in making them wrong. So what happens is, the more you push, the more they're forced to what? Pull. Or push back, which is even worse. Does that make sense? But if you don't push as much, I'll give you a quick example, kind of a bit of a story here. Now, that's what happened in my own life with my own wife. As I mentioned in the past, my wife, Rochelle, I didn't really trust that she could manage our money properly. And so she got this from me on an energetic level. And whenever she was angry with me, again, for not trusting her, she would do what? She'd go out and what? Spend more money to push my buttons, to say, you can't control me, right? And it was very, very weird because, I was trying to control her. I thought that was the way to do it. And so, she came from a very specific spending situation. Her program is definitely around the spending side. And she loves to shop. That's her thing, right? And so, I would be in my office and I would hear the car coming down the driveway, but I'd also hear that the motor had been turned off near the top of the driveway and she was in neutral gliding down, right? And so then I'd hear the door clicking open very slowly. And then I'd hear all of a sudden her high heels clicking through the hallway, and I could hear through this narrow hallway the shopping bags, the paper bags, trying to fit through the hallway, okay? And you hear it scraping along the wall. And so I would come into the bedroom and, there'd be all these bags and things piled up on the bed over here, and I'd go, "Hey, honey," and she'd go, "Hi." Try to hide the bags and everything like that. And I'd go, "Well, what do you got over there?" She'd, nothing, right? And I'd go, "What's that?" Oh, it's a purse." "Another purse? You got a purse yesterday." "Yeah." "Well, I needed this purse." "What's that?" "There's a couple of pair of shoes." "You got 2 pairs of shoes yesterday. What are you doing?" All that kind of, yeah. So we'd have all these fights and all these things going, this went on and on and on. So, of course, I did this kind of work, and I decided I'd try a different avenue, right? And so I hear her come in. It was about a month later. Hear her come in. Hear the car gliding into the driveway. Hear the door slowly opening. Hear her come clipping down the hallway with the bags rubbing again. And this was a big load, okay? I could hear it was like a low sound of the bag just trying to get in through the hallway. And then I knew it was bad because I heard our bedroom door lock. That never happened before. Oh, this has got to be a big haul here. Yeah. So I knock on the door, and she goes, "What? What is it?" And I'm going, "Honey, open the door, please." She says, "I'm busy." "Honey, it's my bedroom. Please open the door." Okay. She opens the door. She's already. That's basically what happened, right? All over the place. And so she's trying to hide it, and there's a big mound on the bed. It looks like Nordstrom's or Sears or something, just a big thing of bags all over the place. And I'm going, man, I'm thinking to myself, how on earth could anybody do this, right? But I said to her, so what do you got over there? She goes, just a little dress I needed. I said, "Really? Let's see it." So she takes it out and she holds it. I said, "Wow, that's kind of pretty. Why don't you try it on?" She's looking at me. So she puts it on. I go, "Wow, that is a knockout dress. That's a keeper for sure. You look great in that. Maybe you want to wear it on Saturday." She's going like this. Have you ever seen how the puppies or the dogs look at you like this? And I could see her whole brain is just frying. It's just like, what's going on here? So I said, what's in the other bag? She says, "Well, I got some shoes to match the dress." I said, "Let's see them." She puts them on. "Wow, those are stunning shoes. You should make sure you keep those too." And I'm also noticing a little twitch happening. Her whole nervous system is changing here. And I go, "What's in there?" She goes, "Just Just a couple of handbags? A couple of purses? I said, let's see them. She goes, which one do you like? I go, both of them. They both look great. You should keep them both. Now I see she's getting a little angry, all right? She's not sure what's happening. So there's another dress. She tried that on. I said, man, you must have hit the gold mine there. I mean, you just picked out the great. Did you get any help by like a designer, or did you just like pick this out by yourself? She goes, I picked it out myself. I said, man, it looks great on you. That beautiful stuff, really great. I got to go do some work. So I go back to my office. It's pretty silent for about 10 minutes. All of a sudden, I hear her on the kitchen phone. She's talking to her best friend, Marcia, in Toronto. And all I hear is this: I don't know what's going on. But I'm going to get to the bottom of this. And then all of a sudden, a couple of seconds later, I hear her going, Marcia, do you think he's seeing someone else? I'm in my office going, oh my God. And so about 10 minutes later, she's off the phone and she says, Harv? I go, yeah. She says, would you sit down, please? I go, sure, honey. She went, okay. I can take it. Tell me what's happening. What? Please. If you tell me the truth, I won't be angry. I've heard that one, but my mother used to say that, right? Oh my God. Oh yeah, okay, right. Sure. I'm gonna fall for that one. What is it? I bought $3,000 worth of clothing. And you said, keep it all? I said, yeah, it looks great on you. And you aren't upset? Did we just come into a lot of money? Well, nothing unusual. All of a sudden, I go, honey, you should see my chiropractor because you got something going on over here a little bit. She says, okay, fine. All right, so we let it go. About 2 hours later, I'm in my office, I hear the bags coming this way in the hallway. Okay. I catch her in the hallway, go, what's going on? She says, I'm taking this stuff back. I go, why? She says, because I don't really need it. I say, yeah, but it looks good. She says, I know, but I got tons of things that look good. I say, okay, I'll take it back. I said, you don't have to take it back. She says, I want to take it back. Okay, you win. So that little role reversal worked pretty good. And to this day, the less I push, the less she pushes back. And when I don't push and I just simply trust that she's going to make the right decision, all of a sudden everything has changed because there's no more hidden resentment there. Do you understand that? So here's the thing you have to understand. Everybody has their own meanings. Their own what? Meanings for money. And for her background, her meaning for money was money means pleasure. Money means what? Pleasure. However, for me, money always meant freedom. What does it mean? So ne'er did the two ever meet, of course. So when she was spending our money, she wasn't spending our money, she was spending our future what? Freedom. And that didn't sit well with me. And when I was not letting her spend money, it wasn't I wasn't letting her spend money, it was I wasn't allowing her to have what in life? Pleasure in life. You understand the problem there? So the question is, how are you different than your mate or your partners or your employees or your employer with the arena of what money means to you? So now we have a whole different understanding. First of all, we've done this type of work before. I understand her blueprint. She understands my blueprint. I understand that what she wants is pleasure. She understands what I want is freedom. So what happens is, for example, we communicate about that. What's the key word? So I make sure that if I'm asking her to hold off on something, I'm making certain that I make sure that she has enough money there, enough expenditure there for her to get what she wants, the pleasure-wise, but she doesn't have to overdo it because she does that on her own. And the same with me. When she goes and spends money, she's smart. When she spends money, she'll say, honey, I spent $1,000, but I was going to spend $2,000. And I decided to keep $1,000 so we could put it in our FFA account. I said, thank you, dear. That's so cool, right? It's okay. It's a little game, but it works, all right? It works for us, right? Do you understand what I'm saying here? So you get this, yes or no? All right, so understanding their agenda, understanding their blueprint, understanding their meanings for money, and not making them wrong. If you make them wrong, you'll create an energy that they'll force them to do more of whatever they were doing. Remember in the video, when they switched roles, all of a sudden he was scared to death, right? Right, but when she was pushing him, all he wanted to do was spend more, yes? You got it? All right, here we go. The next one over here is critical. And the word is this. What does it say, please? Independence. Independence. Now, this is the way most people, when it comes to, let's say, a romantic relationship, how they end up working it. They end up doing this. And what happens is they come together, yes? I didn't mean it like that. They blend together. They blend together as a single entity. As a what entity? A single entity. And most people believe this is the way relationships need to be. Except I want to share something with you that I'm going to beg to differ. And my experience says this, that this is the surest way to ruin in all forms of relationship. When you come together so closely that you've blended with each other. So I'm part of you, you're part of me, yada, yada, yada. Now, that's the problem. The problem is this, is that in this case, both of these people have lost their power. Both of these people have lost their what? Independence. Now, the more powerful type of relationship, in my experience, says it looks like this. You've got this person over here. You've got this separate person over here. And yes, there is a third entity. A third what? A third entity where you are coming together. You understand the difference? The difference in this entity, in this situation, says, I'm me, and I have my life. You're you, and you have your life and your power. And we also have a third entity called us. And us is a wonderful thing when we do us. But it's not always us. It's me, it's you, and there's us. There's three entities there. That way, all the entities have their own energy and their own power. Does that make any sense whatsoever? And what happens when people try to blend them without having their separate power, which is why I'm so adamant about you having at least some of your separate money, that only causes nothing but what? Resentment. Nothing but what? People don't like being robbed of their power. And in this situation, there's almost always, a winner and a loser at all points in time. You understand that? In this situation, you say, hey, what we have together, we have together. But what we have apart, we have apart. That's not a problem. Does that make any sense? Good, good. So, again, for a lot of you, it's going to be very important that you accept that person as they are, as an individual. Let me put it this way. We came in alone, we're leaving alone. Everything else is interesting, but we came in alone and we are leaving alone. So you better hold your power throughout. Got it? All right. And that's not power over someone. That's just owning your own power. All right. And that makes for a much better third relationship. The last area here is this one, and this is very important. This is called having this. What's the words, please? Creating a shared vision. Now, here's again the situation. You've got this person over here. You've got this person over here. Now, again, the same situation. When there's just the two of you, where's the energy go? Between you, right? That's all there is. Is it possible to have a lot of friction that way? Totally. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's all the energy can go. Except for one thing. What I'm going to highly recommend, and it doesn't matter if you're in a romantic relationship, you're an employer, if you own your own business, whatever it is, you have kids, make certain you create, again, a third entity. And that third entity is what? Your SV, your shared what? Your shared vision of something specific that you want to do or have together that you're both going for. When we do that, what happens to the energy? This person's energy is partly where? Up here. This person's energy is partly where? Up there. They're both going for the same thing. Does that make any sense? So now the energy is taken away from having to, again, compete with each other or blend the power there, and now the energy and the focus can go where? Up where? Up to the vision. I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. In my experience, one of the greatest keys to success in owning your own company is if you make sure that everyone involved in your company understands and has the same shared vision. Same mission, same vision. You understand? I would say that is probably the key to the success of Peak Potentials. Everyone involved with us, all the ambassadors, all the associates, all of our logistics volunteers and help, all of the 31 full-time staff in our head office all have the same shared vision. Does that make sense? When you can share that, it gives you this commonality that you normally wouldn't have, instead of all the bickering and politics that go on. Got it? Because the shared vision, the vision is bigger than both of you. It's something for you both to play in. It's an arena for you both to focus on. All right. So that's critical here. By the way, where else is that important? Raise your hand if you have kids whatsoever. Here's my experience. When there's no shared vision, there's not a lot of stuff going on. I'll give you an example. My son, Jesse, he's trying out for the high school football team as a receiver. So in order to make sure, because it brings people closer together. Closer to what? So I make sure there's always some shared vision with myself and my wife, myself and each of my children. And if you don't have that, I'm going to highly recommend you do this as a methodology of being close to your family and close to anybody else. It just works in all relationships. So what I did was I said, Jess, you're going out for football. I said, can you make sure that if you're going to get a football, look for a football that's the same size of what you're going to be using, right? So he did that. And I gave him some money, and he put in part, and I put in part, and he bought himself a football. So what was this all about? I said, you know what? Why don't we do this if you want? Why don't we create a situation where you're going to be the starting receiver this fall for the football team? And he goes, that's exactly what I want. I want to be starting. And of course, he had told me that before. I said, so I'll help you with that what? Vision. And I said, let's do some practice time. Whenever you want, let's throw the ball around and we'll run some plays and all that kind of. Well, I'll tell you what, this kid was so excited about that. Because he was excited about me helping him. Both of us working towards what? The goal of being starting wide receiver on the team. That was important to him, yes? And I'll tell you what because he hangs out with all his friends, but all of a sudden, he started hanging around me a lot more often. When I was home, he had the football in his hand. Dad, you want to go out and throw around? We got so close all of a sudden as soon as I brought that up. My daughter, on the other hand, she is turning 16. And so what was the shared vision for her? To be able to get her what? Her license, right? So what did I say? I said, you know what, honey? How about if I help you and we can work together to get your license as fast as possible? Oh my God, she was all over that. Now, she's a 16-year-old girl who's usually not over anything that I talk about, right? It's like, okay, Dad, fine, you're embarrassing me, okay, stop. But this, like she's all over it, right? So it was more like, Dad, can we go driving? Can we do this? Can we do that? Because what? We created the shared vision of her getting her license, and I was helping her get that. Does that make sense at all? Okay. So no matter where you're at and with who you're at, it's imperative that you create a shared vision. Now, here is the critical thing around that. When you have your FFA account, you're both going for something specific, right? That's why it's so important that we say, if at all possible, bring your family members with you here. But things like LTSSs that you're sharing, education that you're sharing, the big one over here, your play money that you get to share, those ones that you're doing together are very, very important. When you're going, for example, have an LTSS that really brings you together. Sit down with each other and say, let's do something really special together with this. Even one jar will do it. How many of you will notice that sometimes when you're together, you've decided you're going to buy a house and now you're saving for the down payment? That's a good thing, yes? Or buying a condo. Or in one of the previous seminars here, we had a couple. I didn't even know they were a couple. They're kind of split apart. They weren't getting along and all that. And all of a sudden, we started talking about this. And they were sharing how they didn't have anything, quote unquote, in common anymore. So I said, well, you know, I said to the woman, she stood up and I said, well, what is it that you really want? What do you want to save for? She says, well, you know, he wants one thing, I want another. He always wants these motorized vehicles and toys and all that, and I don't want anything like that. I haven't had a vacation in 19 years, and I have never been anywhere in the sun. I would just like to go to the Caribbean. And he's looking at her, and I go to him, I go, what do you want? He goes, well, shoot, I'd like to go to the Caribbean too. And she goes to him, you would? He goes, yeah? The motorcycle goes, yeah? He goes, yeah, it'd be awesome. All of a sudden, they're hugging and holding hands. Why? Because they got a shared vision. That's all it takes. A little bit of magic comes in to the relationship the minute you start sharing your vision. Now, here's the most important part and why this shared vision is imperative. Because watch. What is the shape of this vision when you have the two people in the shared vision? A triangle. Buckminster Fuller, one of the greatest people of our time, what he said was that the building block of the universe is actually the shape of the what? Triangle. That is the building block of the universe. And what we also know is this, and we talk about this in wizard and warrior training, is the understanding is this, is that when you have a triangle versus this over here, what have you created in the middle over here? Space. What's the word? Space. And something you need to know. You'll experience this in our camps, but you need to know this for right now. Space. What's the word? Space. And space is the only place that you will find spirit. The only place you will find spirit is in space. In other words, it takes space to have spirit, to have magic. I'll give you an example. How many of you have ever wanted to figure something out really badly, remember something really badly? It's at the tip of your tongue, you know it, but you just can't get it. Anybody? And what happens? You let it go, you say, forget it. And then about 20 minutes later, boom, like a missile, it comes right in and just comes in. Yes or no? Because you gave it some what? We're going to be doing wizard training next week. Unfortunately, it's completely sold out. I can't even talk to you about that. So, however, wizard training is so much about allowing space in your life. And you know what happens? When you allow space, it's a vacuum. And the universe rushes in to fill that vacuum with spirit, with magic. For example, how many of you ever had an experience where you had a speech and it was like read and prepared and every word was down? Yes? Or seen it? What happens in those speeches? They can be quite good, but they can never be great. Why? Because when is a speech or when is a talk ever great? When it comes from where? From the heart. It just like comes out spontaneously. It's like you're channeled. It's like you're guided. And these metaphors and the ideas just come flying out of you. You had no idea. If in your paper, you could have never been that smart. Have you ever experienced something like that? Because you're giving it the space. You're giving spirit space for magic. If you want to have a magical relationship, you are going to need to give it what? Space. And that's why I like the independent model. And that's why I like the shared vision model. Because in space is where spirit resides. Make sense? Yes. How was your day today? I should say, how was your month today, right? You've been here a while, yes? But did you have fun? Yes. Did you learn a lot? Yes. Did you learn about yourself a lot? Yes. Did you learn about your mind a lot? Yes. Very good. Good morning. Good morning. How y'all doing? Good. Did you have a good night last night? Yes. Anybody have some thoughts about yourself and your life after you left here? Yeah. A lot of people have called this program a kind of a wake-up call, right? It's like, oh my God, what was I thinking? Yeah. So, first thing we do is what? All right, what do we got here? First one we put money into is which one? How much? We're going to go with LTSS next. How much? 5, and I believe there's another one here. 5. Education. 10. Play money. Necessities. How do you know it's 30? You don't even know what I got here, right? Quick on the draw. It's very habitual. All right, handled. See, it's kind of like brushing your teeth. You don't usually have to think about it, right? It's kind of like you don't necessarily are running to do it, but it's just you roll out of bed, you do a couple of things, and you go to the bathroom, and you generally brush your teeth. At least most of us do anyways. At least the ones who have teeth do that. Anyways, but you know what I'm saying? It's kind of second nature, yes? So the goal is to what? Make this what? Second? Make this what? Second nature. You don't think about it. Remember last night? The essence of what we were attempting to show you is that it doesn't matter what your personality is, spender, saver, avoider. Okay, that's interesting. Those are very good observations. They're very assisting with regard to when you go off track and whatnot, and what your natural tendency is to do, yes? On the other hand, same thing happens with your conditioning. Okay, you've got this recording and this information and this belief and that belief. Very nice, very interesting, and so frickin' what? So what? How does that stop you from taking the check and writing a check to this account? What does any of that stuff have to do with the manual process of taking a pen, writing a check into this account? What does any of that mind frick, as we call it in warrior camp, have to do with this process? You tell me. Yeah, but what does it have to do with it has nothing to do with the process. You understand? The mind frick has nothing to do with the action. What we're going to find out this afternoon is that you can act in spite of whatever the heck is going on in there. It doesn't matter what's going on in here. These are separate processes. Yeah, I know that we know that they're linked, and of course, biologically, we know that they are linked. However, we don't have to, we can intercede in that linked. You understand what I'm saying? So just because you're thinking this thing, here's what I want you to do, okay? I want you to try and experiment with me. I want you to think 1,000% to stay seated. But what I want you to do bodily is stand up. All right? I want you to think 1,000%. I want you to believe I have to stay seated. I want you to think, if I don't stay seated, something really bad is going to happen to me. I want you to think really, really dramatically, stay seated. But what I want you to do is stand up. Try it. See if you can do it. No, stay standing if you can do it. So think, I have to stay seated, but stand up. So you're not able to use your feet and stand up? Are you able to? You are able to. Okay, great. Are you able to stand up? You are, okay. Are you able to stand up? Are you able to stand up? So think I can't, but do it anyways. What did you notice?
I can stand.
Hallelujah, brothers and sisters! You can stand. All right, have a seat. So do you understand what I'm saying? You can think this all you want, but in the end, it has nothing to do with the bodily mechanics of doing it. Understand? You can think anything you want, but in the end, has nothing to do with writing a check or putting the frickin' bill inside the jar. Those are two separate things. So stop thinking, or think anything you want. I don't care. All I care about is you do this. That's all. You can think anything you want and get really rich and free. Do you understand that? Yes or no? Yes. I hope so. All right. Please stand up with your sheets. We're starting with winning the money game. The words have energy, yes? Yes. How many people have heard of affirmations? Okay. There's a difference between affirmations, what I call declarations. A declaration is a commitment to the universe, right? An affirmation is a saying. The declaration, as far as I'm concerned, the declaration is what you're stating as a commitment out there. Say, this is who I am, all right? The affirmation is kind of, I find it for myself, the definition a little more whimsical. It's just a statement, but it doesn't necessarily, for me, feel like a commitment. When I say this, I make a declaration into the universe that this is who I am, this is who I am becoming. Does that make sense? Yes. So it's all your perspective. It's all the meaning you what? Give it. Does that make sense? Yes. So I'm giving it this meaning that when I say this, I'm putting it out there that this is now and becoming truth for me. Understand? Versus an affirmation to me is a little bit more, well, okay, I am strong and courageous. I am strong and courageous. I am strong and courageous. You know, versus I could say the same words, but if I have my hand on my chest, if my intention is to the universe to say, I am strong and courageous, and feel that, it's a whole different matter. Does that make sense? Now, the other thing about this, too, is that we only use declarations in concert with the learning and experiences that we're already having. So what they are is they're a little bit more, almost more like reminders, review, and they trigger the other information and experiences you've already had. So when it says, I am an excellent money manager, what does that trigger for you? The jars, and that you split your money up. Does that make sense? Versus if you just read in a book, here's your 6 affirmations you should say for yourself. I'm an excellent money manager. Where's the file? The only file you've got is a junky file. So you're saying this, your junk file comes up and they don't match. And finally your mind says, that's BS. You're a lousy money manager, and you always will be. Because you haven't done the work. You haven't related into a new file yet, understand? So you already have the file. So these are more of making what you already know stronger and putting it out there. Does that make any sense to anybody here? Yes? And that's the difference in the way we teach. The way we teach all of our programs. I'll tell you right now, this is even our entry-level program, but all of our programs generally use declarations, but they use it in harmony with the lesson. So each lesson has the declaration, and they're more of like a reminder. Are you guys ready to say this? Yes. Are you ready to declare this into the universe? Yes. All right, let me hear you. I am an excellent money manager.
I always pay myself first. I put money into my financial freedom fund every day. My money works hard for me and makes me more and more money. I earn enough passive income to pay for my desired lifestyle. I am financially free. I work because I choose to, not because I have to. My part-time business is managing and investing my money and creating streams of passive income.
Give somebody a high five and say, you have a millionaire mind. Good work. The gold sheet. Winning the mind game, winning the mind game. Let's hear it. Go. I create my life.
I create the exact amount of my financial success. I play the money game to win. My intention is to create wealth and abundance. I admire and model rich and successful people. I believe money is important. Money is freedom and makes life more enjoyable. I get rich doing what I love. I deserve to be rich because I add value to other people's lives. I am a generous giver and an excellent receiver. I am truly grateful for all the money I have now. Lucrative opportunities always come my way. I am incredibly lucky when it comes to money.
Give me a high five and say, you have a millionaire mind. Do you recall the 4 quadrants? Help me out. I gave them to you the first time. You can give them to you this time. What are they? Emotional, spiritual, mental, emotional, spiritual, physical. Now, when it comes to money and the money game, there are other books, tapes, courses, seminars, information out there. Not a lot of it, but some that's actually pretty good in the mental game. There is actually quite a bit in the spiritual side. And there's a lot on the physical side. Not the tools that we necessarily give, but still some very, very good tools out there, yes? But you know what my experience is? Very, very little, if anything, with reference to the money game has been done and talked about in the emotional side. And people have that experience. And so one of the powerful aspects of our programs is that we understand we are holistic beings. We understand the 4 quadrants. And in every one of our programs, we always, what's the word? Always. Make certain all 4 quadrants are covered fully. Because let me just say this, just so you'll understand this 1,000%. The one quadrant you don't handle is the quadrant that will suck you down. You understand what I'm saying? That's the one that will become your nemesis. It's kind of like, you have 4 appendages, 2 arms, 2 legs. Just imagine one of them not working. You can still hobble along, but it's a tough grind. Does that make sense? You've got to, and when all 4 are working, then they can work together, they can intertwine, you're balanced, everything changes. So it's not just like, oh, when this is working, this one's working and so are all 4. No, this one working means all 4 are working, and when all 4 are working, then the effect is quadruple. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes or no? Yes. And that's why it's critical that we cover this emotional side. So this morning we're going to talk about money and emotions. I have a question for you. If your relationship with another person was full of anger, would it affect that relationship? Yes. If your relationship with another person was full of guilt, would it affect that relationship? Yes. It was full of fear, would it affect that relationship? Yes. We have a relationship with what? Money. If your relationship with money is full of anger, guilt, fear, shame, sadness, would it affect that relationship? Yes. So, remember the process of manifestation. Help me out on this. Your thoughts lead to your feelings, which lead to your actions, which lead to your results. So, by virtue of that formula, you automatically, what's the word, please? Thank you. You automatically bring your what? Feelings to every one of your what? Actions. You got it? Yes or no? Yes. So before you take an action, you're going to have a thought, you're going to have a feeling, and then there's going to be an action. So what happens is you're bringing those feelings with you wherever you go. Now, your positive emotions and positive feelings serve to uplift the actions around money, yes? But your negative ones, what do? They drag those actions and decisions down. And your negative emotions end up like becoming lead weights, burdens, baggage that you end up dragging with you. And what happens is you're dragging this thing along and it's really heavy. And what occurs, unfortunately, is that as we proceed with this throughout our life, guess what we forget? That's right. We forget that we've got this tagging on and holding on to this. And we believe that this is how we walk, and this is how much we weigh. You understand what I'm saying? We forgot we're holding on to this thing that's weighing us down and slowing us down. We just think it's part of us now. This is who I am. Oh yeah, this is who I am. So what happens is this. These are like lead weights, baggage that we end up bringing with us into the future. So let me just explain this right now. The future, actually this next moment, whatever the future is a clean and open slate. You understand that? It's totally clean, it's totally open, it's completely neutral, right? So let's say in this future, whether it's a minute from now or a day from now or 2 days from now or 2 weeks from now, we have this. What is it? We have an opportunity, right? It's a clean, it's a clear, it's a wonderful opportunity, yes? Yes. It sure is, until we show up. All right. And then what do we bring with us? We bring with us all these things. So for some of us, we might bring what? We might bring anger, yes? And what do? We put ourselves and this onto the what? Onto this clean and clear and wonderful opportunity. Or some of us might put this onto it, guilt. Or some of us might put this onto it. What's this one? Fear. Or some of us might put this onto it. What's this one? Shame. Or some of us might put this onto it. What is it? Sadness. You understand what I'm saying? So we took this wonderful opportunity and then put our stuff onto it. And now that opportunity has changed, isn't it? Sure has. And we don't even realize we're doing it. Be honest with me. How many people know other people, let's not talk about ourselves right now, that because of their certain emotions, they wear it on their sleeve? And all you have to do, if they're not wearing it right now, is press a little button and they'll wear it in a half a second. Yes or no? Yes. See, that's what our trainings are about. Wizard, warrior, we're pushing buttons all over the place to help you practice staying calm, centered, in your power, no matter what anybody does. Does that make any sense? Because it's a training, it's a practice. But some people, most people, 98% are so easy. You want to see what they're made out of? You want to see this stuff? Add a little fire. Add a little heat. See what happens. You understand what I'm saying, right? Well, you notice in our courses, we add heat all the time, just so you can see yourself. So, that's why it's imperative that if you want to be successful in the future, we clear these dark clouds of negative emotions that are hanging over us and that we are carrying around with us. So that when you go to an opportunity, you are clean and clear. When you are, and it could be any opportunity. It could be the opportunity of money. It could be the opportunity of relationship. It could be a romantic relationship. It could be a business relationship. The reason many of the partnerships fail in any way, shape, or form is because these two people have these emotions that are brought into the relationship. Okay, so the reason that we clear these emotions is so that, listen closely to the word I use, so that we stop contaminating our future with our past. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because that's what happens. We actually contaminate it. Okay. So, negative emotions are stuck energy. What are they, please? Thank you. Stuck energy. And what they are is, listen to the words I'm using again, please. They are primarily incomplete communications. Please repeat that. Incomplete communications. Communications that should have been out there, but instead they got stuck inside. So, let's talk about emotions. What does it say? What does the E stand for? What is it? Energy. Excellent work. Thank you. That was good work. Energy in what? Motion. So in other words, there's nothing wrong with emotions, as long as they stay in motion. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that energy as long as it stays in motion. But when it doesn't stay in motion, when it gets stuck inside, that's when the problems occur. Because it's not supposed to be stuck inside. It's supposed to be energy in what? Motion. Good. And you know, so what it is, and I'm going to suggest right now that whether you take our programs or you can find any other programs that work in these arenas, the idea of mastering your life, part of that is the mastery of allowing stuff, energy, to come in and then letting it out. So energy comes in, and then it goes what? Out. In and out. That's the natural and healthy way, yes or no? Yes. Imagine, let's look at nature, ourselves, our body. Food comes in, but it doesn't ever go out. You got a big, fat problem. You understand what I'm saying? So it's got to be, everything works like that, in and out. Look at life. We come into this life, we go out of this life. Understand? Everything is in and out, in and out. Energy in, energy out. That's what we do in Warrior. That's what we do in Wizard. We teach you how to be a master. Mastering life is partly around that, a big part of it. How many people can understand that? It's a training. It's a what? It's a training. You have to train yourself for that. Because we're not good at it. Oh, a baby gets the energy. They start crying, right? He's let it out. But then we get told, stop crying. What's the matter with you? And pretty soon, we say there's a problem with just letting it out. Got it? All right. So, releasing the energy is critical here. And you know what? I'm going to generalize here. Is that okay with you? I'm going to generalize here. In no way, shape, or form is this true for everyone. But generally, what's the word? Generally, men, as a stereotype, men are a little better at certain emotions of getting them in and out. Or I should say, a little quicker. It's a matter of timing, right? A little quicker. So usually, not always, there's men that are totally opposite and women that are totally opposite. But usually, just from our past upbringing, usually, men are something like this. Okay, let's eat. What is it? What's the matter? Right? And women are a little bit more like this. Like my wife's a perfect example. I come and I see her and she's in the kitchen. I go, hi, honey, how's it going? Okay. Are you all right? Yeah. You don't really seem okay. Are you not in a good mood? You're a cigarette? Everything's okay. Gee, honey, maybe we can talk about this. There's nothing to talk about. Okay, well, listen, I'll see you later on. I got a little bit of work to do. I'll talk to you after. So, next day. Hi, honey, how's it going? Fine. Gee, maybe we should really communicate about this because we both, work on ourselves and there's nothing wrong. A week later. Hon, I think we should talk about this. Okay. What is it? Do you remember 6 weeks ago when... 6 weeks ago, when I called you in for dinner, and I had made a really nice dinner, and you kept saying you're just turning off the computer, and you didn't come for like 5 minutes. Oh yeah, I remember that. I was really busy, and guys. The wrong thing to do. Okay, when they start doing that, little clue, no matter what, no matter how quote unquote illogical it is, you cannot say a word. You can't explain yourself. You can't even say, I'm sorry. You can't say anything. Because the minute you do, they'll go, you just have to zip it and just wait and wait and wait and wait and listen until all of it comes out. All of the energy that's been stored in there for months. Okay? Then later, after it's all done, there's only 2 words, and they are, I understand. And that's it. Yeah. So you got to listen. You understand what I'm saying? It's about listening. And that's all they want. One of my new books coming out, it's called It Takes Courage. And there's actually 30 ways in 30 days to a happier, healthier, wealthier life. And it's got vignettes. So it's got a thing about courage, what it takes courage to do. And then it says it has a cartoon. So there's one about it takes courage to just listen, right? And it shows this woman talking to a man. And in the vignette, the first vignette, it shows her saying to him, when I want you to speak, I'll raise this flag. And in the second vignette, it shows her burning the flag, right? So really, it's just a matter of timing. Men in general are a little like in and out, quick around, and women just hold it in there, you know? So it's all about the timing, right? Just a matter of time. Speaking of timing, it reminds me of a cute story of this wedding that's happening. It's an Italian wedding, and you know the husband and the wife, and they're kind of young, and the grandfather comes to his grandson. He says, hey, Sonny, I got a present for you for your wedding. He says, is it this a gun? Is this a gun? I've been in the family for years. I've been well used the gun. I use the gun on myself all the time. It's a great gun. It's a kill a lot of people. It's a good gun. He says, well, gee, I don't really need a gun right now. He says, well, you got to take it as a gun. It's a present from me. You understand? You got to take it as a gun. He says, okay, I'll take it the gun. So he takes the gun. And he takes it home, and he takes it to his new wife. She says, get that stupid thing out of here. What are you, crazy? We're not in the mafia anymore. Get that out of here. I don't want that in the house. Away. So he says, okay. So he takes the gun, and he goes over, and he goes down the street, and he finds a pawn shop, and he trades the gun in for this really nice watch. And so he comes home with the watch. He's really happy. It's a year later, and now it's time for their 1-year anniversary. And they're having a party, and Grandpa comes, of course, and he says to his grandson, he says, son, I got to see it at the gun. He says, I miss it at the gun so much. It was like a part of me. He says, I use it so much. He says, let me see it at the gun. He says, well, gee, Grandpa, I don't have the gun anymore. He says, you don't have it, the gun? Where's the gun? He says, I traded it in for this really nice watch. He says, you traded the gun in for the watch? He says, let me ask you a question. You're going to come home one a day. You're going to see your wife in bed with another man. What are you going to do? Say, hey, buddy, it's the time to go. Oh, well. Where were we? Oh, yes, emotions. Okay, so emotions are what? Stuck energy, yes? Let's try that again. Emotions are, hey, wipe those smiles off your face. Emotions are stuck energy. What are they, please? Stuck energy. Thank you. Stuck energy. Incomplete communications. And therefore, the way to clear the emotions is to get in touch with them and experience them. And by experiencing them, we actually bring them to the surface, which then dislodges them from being stuck inside us. Does that make sense? Yeah. I'll say it again. They're stuck emotions. By experiencing them, we bring them back to the surface, which then what? Dislodges them from their stuck position and brings them out. So we're going to do a very, very essential, and what I'm going to say right now is a life-changing exercise for many, 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 many people. I want you to write these things down. I'm going to dictate them all first, so copy this, and then we'll talk about it after. Everyone needs to be writing these. Everyone. With regards to money, with regards to money, I feel angry because ... I feel sad because ... I feel afraid that ... I feel ashamed because ... I feel guilty because ... I feel sorry because ... So you could feel this emotion with regards to yourself, a specific person, a group of people, or a specific situation. And I want you to write these completions in complete sentences. And I want you to have several, if at all possible, several answers for each emotion. I'd like you to go deep, and I want you to find the buried memories, because those are the ones that are the deep burdens for you. And I want you to be okay with feeling the emotion, because feeling the emotion is what we're after, the experience. Now, money and emotions is a very, very, very touchy subject. And a lot of people have years and decades of built up energy in some of these areas. And it's time to what? Let them go. Let them what? Go. So again, if you need a Kleenex, just raise your hand and one of our assistants will bring you some. The more specific, the better. I'll give you some examples that some participants have used. I feel angry at myself for not living up to my full financial potential. I feel angry at myself for not selling MRP stock when it was at 40, now it's at 2. I feel angry at myself for not having a regular savings program and investing my money properly over the last 20 years, now I have nothing. I feel angry at Dan for screwing up my entire business. By the way, this is not the time to be overly enlightened. This is just the time to get it out, yes? I feel angry at God for not providing for me and making me struggle, especially after I put my faith in him. I feel afraid that I won't succeed in my next business and I'll lose all my time and investment capital. I'm afraid that I will succeed and I'll have more responsibility and have to live up to everyone's new expectations. I feel ashamed I've let myself get $50,000 into debt. I feel sad I can't trust my supposed friend Ariel anymore. I feel guilty for having to ask my parents for money and still live in their home. I feel guilty for earning more money than my dad. I feel guilty for stealing from my partner. I feel guilty for taking money from my mom's purse without her knowing when I was young. I feel guilty for letting my family down and not supporting them in the lifestyle I'd like to. You understand what I'm saying here? So, these are the ones I could share. Write freely. Go deep. This is something, listen closely, this is something that you can keep private if you choose to. And the more you can write, the better. But here's my challenge to you. It takes courage. It takes what? Courage. To fully do this exercise. To really go back in and find the pieces that are really, really stuck in those emotional states, those emotional energies. And I want you, listen closely to the instruction here. I want you to write down the things you would never write down in black and white, or blue and white, or brown and white. The things you would, no way would I ever write this down. It's too secret. It's too, I wouldn't want anyone knowing this. I don't want to look at this, okay? You write down the things you would never write down, including everything else. So I'm not saying everything has to be a big catastrophe. I'm just saying the things that are serious, get them down. Because those are, otherwise you're just playing on a very superficial level, which is okay if that's what you came here to do. But if you came here to clean out your life so that you can go to tomorrow with a clean slate, this is the way to do it. And it does take some courage, no question. All right, so make sure you get at least a couple of completions for each emotion. If nothing comes to mind, ask yourself, what would I write down if I did have this emotion? All right? If I did have this emotion, what would I write down? Again, it doesn't have to be a catastrophe. Okay? And again, now, these are mostly primarily to do with money. With what? Money. However, since this is such an effective exercise, it would be a little bit of a ripoff if we didn't allow you to slide some other pieces in that you're angry or ashamed or guilty about. So go ahead and write them in. I don't want you to spend the whole time on them. Make sure that for each of them you got the money parts handled. But if you've got guilt or an anger around something else, put it in there. Okay, because we're going to do some release work on this morning. So let's get rid of the whole tree, all right? Is that okay? Yeah. All right, good. Just take the whole thing out. Keep your pen moving. Don't stop to think, but stay in your feelings, not in your head. And I want you to get used to feeling the emotion. So bring the emotion up. As you're writing the emotion, feel that emotion the best you can in the written form. And now, if you are in formal therapy, or you should be, you just have to be a little cautious in this one, all right? But it's just a very gracious and light release. And I believe at the end of the whole morning, whatever you feel right now, you might just get used to this feeling that you've got right now, because I pretty well guarantee you're going to feel 10 or 20 pounds lighter after this. Very nice. Okay, are you ready to play? All right, so you're going to have about 8 minutes to complete. So keep your pen moving. Don't get stuck in your head thinking about it, whatever. Get your pen moving and get into the feeling, all right? And do not take yourself out. It's very easy for their mind to go, oh, I have to make a call, I have to go to the bathroom. Don't take yourself out. That's how your mind does it to you. Okay, gets the heat's up, you're gone. All right, begin. Okay, good job, very good. Now, the key to clearing this, again, is expressing and experiencing. Expressing and what? So writing this down is a form of expression, and that is a certain form and a certain amount of energy. The next piece, the next level we want to go to is expressing vocally, articulating, getting the energy out in a vocal form. So in a moment, I'm going to ask you to find a partner. Now, if you came here with a mate, it might be a very good idea to be with your mate, right? If you didn't come here with a mate, not a problem. Then you can be here with anybody, anyone whatsoever, all right? Now, again, it's about articulation. It's about what? Articulation. Now, earlier, I said that if you want to, you can keep this private. So I have to stay in integrity around that. At the same time, how many people came here to quote-unquote learn or unlearn? So as I said, it takes courage. So I'm going to invite you, everyone, to make sure, make what? Sure. That you have a partner for this exercise, because it's critical. So if, in order to stay in integrity, if there's something that is on your sheet that is so, quote-unquote, horrific, at least to you, that you just cannot bring yourself to articulate that with someone else listening, then just skip that one. But it's got to be out there. I mean, it's got to be like, okay, well, I don't think I should share that I killed 4 people in the woods, and maybe I'll hold off on that one. Maybe I'll just make it 2 people. Maybe that will be okay. So, do you understand what I'm saying? Other than that, it's probably just your mind telling you how bad it is. And when you say it out there, it'll be like the beliefs. It'll be like, oh, I guess that wasn't such a big deal, right? All right, so it takes a bit of courage to do this process. All right. So I'm going to ask you to get with a partner. Now, the object is to, this time, feel the feeling. Feel the what? Feeling. When you're sharing. So sharing is one thing, the articulation that says, I feel angry because I let myself get $50,000 into debt. Okay, fine. What does that do? Well, those are interesting words. What are they? Words. But it's the energy. What are we after here? The what? The energy. The what? The energy that we want to start dislodging and getting into motion, right? Energy in motion. So that didn't happen before. So now it's got to happen for us to dislodge it and clear it. So it's up to you to dislodge it. And here's how you do that. By actually getting into that energy, the same energy, and then getting that energy in motion again. Because right now it was just stuck there. So it's not, I feel angry for getting $50,000 into debt. No, it's, I feel freaking angry for letting myself get $50,000 into debt. So now you've got that energy in motion. It's rolling again, okay? And now it can come out. Now, I'm not saying you have to be screaming at the top of your lungs. So scream quietly. You understand what I'm saying? But get the energy into motion. Now, some groups are better than others at doing this, and some people are better than others at doing this from the standpoint of they're willing to go for it. Other people go, well, you know, what'll everyone around me think if I get like upset? Okay, well, that's your thing, right? So let's not worry about that. Let's just get the job done. And the job is to get in touch with the energy and get it into motion. If you're sad, get in touch with the sadness. If tears come, that's great. It's in motion. It's expression through the tears. Does that make sense? It's fantastic. The best thing can happen for you, right? So whatever it is for you, let it out. And those are good things. We were taught to hold everything in. No, let it out. Energy in motion. How many people are here are willing to play this at 1,000%? Okay. Well, we'll find out, won't we? We'll find out. So, how many people here are willing to fully participate in supporting their partner? Now, how do you support your partner? By what? Just listening. Just listening. And be supportive, like a little angel. You're just listening, you're open. So when you're sharing and when you're supporting, just be totally open. Just be open. Allow things to flow. Let the energy flow all around. And just listen. So you're going to have about 6 minutes each to express what you wrote down. And make sure you use those 6 minutes, because I'll tell you this. In the thousands and thousands and thousands of people that we have assisted in this program, this part right over here, people tell us all the time, has just like taken years and years of heaviness away from them. They allow them to walk into life clean and light. And you'll see the difference if you play. If you don't play and you don't see a difference, it's because you didn't play full on. So the level at which you play is the level at which the rest of your life is going to take hold of. So it's up to you. When you walk into that clean slate tomorrow, what do you want to be? How much of this do you want to hold on to? Again, if you're going to be upset in a quiet manner. You could be upset, I am angry, because you just get the energy in motion there. And it's okay to move, right? Get it going. All right. Take each one and play it for real. A begins, go. Okay. Now, as I mentioned, emotions are stuck energy that need to be released. The key word is released. And letting go is actually a choice. And not letting go is actually a choice. And a lot of people choose to not let go because they believe that this emotion is serving them in some way. They say that, well, if I let go of this anger, it'll mean that I'm condoning what he or she did. Or if I let go of this fear or doubt or worry, I might really get hurt. And as you can see, this is a story that only makes sense to this person. But in reality, holding on to these emotions, does it help? Yes or no? No. Doesn't help, and it usually makes life very, very what? Miserable. So, the point is that you can let go of any emotion quickly and easily. For example, how many of you had some kind of upset during the past week or two? Okay? It could be traffic, it could be being late, it could be standing in line, it could be something, you didn't get what you wanted, right? But what happened? Did you decide to, oh, I was in that lineup for 10 minutes and I'm going to hold on to this for the rest of my life? Or did you just make the decision to just let that go? You know, it's okay, fine, well, whatever. Life goes on, yes? So as human beings, we have that capability. In the same way, we have the capability of raise your arm, okay. We have the same ability to what? Just let it go. Just let it go. Those are critical. So I have a very good friend and a very, very strong and wonderful trainer, and his name is Jim Britt. And he has a brilliantly simple process for releasing negative emotions. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do now. I'm going to ask you to choose 3 emotions or issues dealing with money or whatever you were working on from the past exercise. So let's come up with three of the ones from the past exercise that had the biggest charge on you, or that you want to really, really work on clearing. Okay? So you're choosing 3. Now know what they are. You're going to have to kind of memorize them because you won't be able to use your notes for this. Everyone got 3? Good. Now, close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath. Let it out. And once again, another breath. And let it out. And one more nice deep breath. And just let it all out. Okay. And bring up the first issue. Bring up the first issue. And get in touch with how that makes you feel. And notice where you might feel this feeling in your body. And let the feeling grow in strength. And let the emotion come forth. And let that emotion come forth stronger. Feel the emotion stronger. Really feel that. And now answer the following questions quietly, but out loud. Do I like feeling this way? Do I want to let it go? Am I willing to let it go? When am I willing to let it go? Now, if you're willing to let it go now, say to yourself, I am willing to let, and then whatever the emotional issue is, go now. For example, I am willing to let my anger towards myself for losing that 50,000 go now. So begin. I am willing to let go now. Now keep your eyes closed. Take a nice deep breath. Exhale. Shake your body out. Keeping your eyes closed, smile. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. No complications. All right. Bring up the next issue, the second issue. And get in touch with how that makes you feel. And notice where you might feel this feeling in your body. And let the feeling grow in strength. And let the emotion come forth. And make the emotion stronger. Get in touch with it. And now answer the following questions quietly but out loud. Do I like feeling this way? Do I want to let it go? Yes. Am I willing to let it go? Yes. When am I willing to let it go? Now. If you're willing to let it go now, say to yourself, I am willing to let whatever the emotion is go now. Good. Now keep your eyes closed. Take a nice deep breath. Exhale. Shake your body out and smile. Let's go to the third issue. Remember, letting go is a choice. It's a choice. Third issue. Bring up the third issue now. Get in touch with how that makes you feel. Notice where you might feel the feeling in your body. Let the feeling grow in strength. Let the emotion come forth and make the emotion stronger now. And now answer the following questions quietly but out loud. Do I like feeling this way? No. Do I want to let it go? Yes. Am I willing to let it go? Yes. When am I willing to let it go? Now. If you're willing to let it go now, say to yourself, I am willing to let, and whatever the emotion and the issue is, go now. Take a nice deep breath. Exhale. Shake your body out. And smile. Keep your eyes closed. Now, if you are unwilling to let one of them go, or you're unsure if one of them is cleared, bring it up again. Bring it up again. So we're going to work on one more. Bring it up again. And ask yourself the following questions. To yourself now. What does this feeling or issue do for me? What's the payoff for having it? What do I actually get from this? You got to get something. What's my payoff? Does it really protect me and serve me? Do I really still need it? What will really happen if I let it go? What will really happen? And now answer the following questions quietly, but out loud. Do I like feeling this way? Do I want to let it go? Am I really willing to let it go? When am I really willing to let it go? If you're willing to let it go now, say to yourself, I am willing to let, whatever the issue is, go now. Keeping your eyes closed. Take a nice deep breath. Let it all out. And feel the freedom. Feel the lightness. Feel the feeling of emptiness. This is good. And now as you feel this feeling of emptiness, I want you to fill that vacuum. But this time, I want you to fill it with light and with love. So feel the feelings of love. I want you to feel the love for other people, other trees. Feel the love for other people in your life, the people, those around you. I want you to feel the love, your love, for this planet, for Mother Earth, and what she does for us, how she supports you every moment of your life. And I want you to feel and fill that gap of emptiness with total love and unconditional acceptance for yourself. Eyes are closed. And put your hands on your heart, both hands, and just feel a feeling, a total sense of love for yourself. How hard you try, what you're willing to go through. You're just another tree doing the best you can in the forest. All the expectations, all the issues, they're all made up. And just allow yourself to be a tree, empty, open, willing to let the sunshine in, willing to flow with the wind, willing to just be, willing to just be nothing and everything at the same time. Empty, aware, love. Empty, aware, and love. And now slowly open your eyes. And give at least 3 people a great big hug and take a 10-minute well-deserved break. All right, now we're working on these emotions here. By the way, how many of you already feel a bit of a, just a little more empty? It's like there's not a lot going on. Yes? That's a good thing. People pay for that, okay? You understand what I'm saying? Your mind is going to tell you that the way to be is full, right? But your higher self, all it wants is just to be. Full of nothing, just full of nothing, just empty. And when you're empty, then you're what? You're open, you're alert, you're aware, and you bring a fresh you to every fresh situation. Does that make any sense? You don't drag your past with you all the time. And you can be open. And the beautiful thing about it, as you'll learn in other programs, is that you can take the best of what you've learned and your experiences and bring only the best of you with. Because you're going to be in choice, yes? All right. So, of all the emotions, the most debilitating is this one. What's the word? Anger. Anger. Anger often runs our life, and anger often ruins our life. When I was 9 years old, I went to New York with my parents, and we were visiting some cousins. And my cousin was 14, and he had this incredible coin collection. And I'd never seen a coin collection before. And he had these old coins. He had like a quarter that was worth $40, and he had a silver Kennedy $50 that was worth $100, and it was just amazing. And he had these, these books that told you how much everything was worth, and he had, special folders for the coins with plastic, and I was so impressed. And so I decided that when I get home, I would start a coin collection. Excellent. So I did. I started a coin collection, and I really got into it. And I remember going to school, and of course, they're all young kids, and I would trade them, shiny new coins for their oldest coin, and I would tell them to find the oldest coin you've got by date and whatever, and I'll give you a brand new shiny one. And I remember a couple of them started getting wind of it, so I said, you know what? I'll even pay you more for if you have something over, less than $19.50, I'll give you twice as much for it. And of course, I'd take a look at it, and generally they'd be worth way more than that. And so I had this really great coin collection, and we didn't have a lot of money, so I didn't have the folders and all the special paraphernalia, but I just had the coins. And I had this little brown, plasticky, rubbery type of treasure chest piggy bank. And it had a little opening, and I would take my coins and put it into this piggy bank. And I kept the piggy bank that was full of coins, and all my favorites, of course, under the sink in the kitchen. And everything was fine, and I just loved putting the coins into there. And I came home one day from school, and I went to put some coins into the piggy bank, and the piggy bank was gone. And of course, as a 9-year-old, I I freaking freaked. Where's my piggy bank? What's going on? Who stole it? What's happening? Right? I'm all over my mother. What'd you do with it? She's, I didn't do anything. I don't know where it is. Nothing, right? So of course, I search all around the house from 3:30 until 5:30. For 2 hours, I'm searching for this piggy bank. I searched outside. I searched on the lawn to see if anyone had dug anything up so that they had maybe were putting it there. I searched next door, my neighbor's lawn, I searched everywhere. And I finally found my piggy bank. It was in my father's night drawer underneath, and it was empty. Okay. My father comes in from a hard day's work, opens the door, and I go flying in his face. You robber, you stealer, you stole my bank. What's the matter with you? Don't you have your own money? What's the matter with you? You stole it, don't you have your own money? And he goes, whap! And smashes me right across the mouth. I go flying. He goes, half of that was my money. Get lost. And then he takes off, right? Okay. So of course I go running into my room. I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. I'll never trust you again. You stole my money. Anybody relate to this? So, what had happened here? So, of course, I lost my trust in my father, who represented all men. Got it? And what occurred, of course, is that from that incident, from that what? I couldn't deal with men because all men weren't to be what? Trusted. Couldn't be trusted. Do you understand how this could happen? Right. So this is, and this was something that for years and years and years ran my life, at least unconsciously. Whenever there was a man involved in business, I couldn't trust them, or I knew they would rip me off somehow or something. And so I made sure that, of course, I validated that belief, right? Bringing any man into my life that would do that. And so that ran me for a lot of years. And of course, then I shut out man, and then I wouldn't deal with him whatsoever. So that didn't serve me, did it? Until I was able to clear that. So we're going to do some exercises here to work with this. Very, very important and life-changing. Close your eyes again, please. Close your eyes again. Be willing. And search your past for an emotional incident that resulted in your getting angry about something that concerned money and possibly a parent or at least one other person. If you can get a parent in there, great. If you can't, not a problem, just another person. Now, this could be the same emotional incident that you've worked with at this workshop so far, or it could be a different one. So, an emotional incident that resulted in your getting angry about something that concerned money and someone else, at least one other person. And if you can't come up with an incident about money, then choose any incident that made you seriously upset and angry with another person. And if it can't be from childhood, then just simply remember the earliest incident that you can remember that made you angry. All right, now pick up your notebooks, please. Pick up your notebooks. And very importantly, I want you to describe this incident from your perspective at the time. Describe the incident from your perspective at the time. It's a good start. Now, throughout my adult years, I never really re-looked at this incident involving my dad. And I never for a moment considered that maybe, just maybe, he might have a different side to the story, as weird as it could possibly be. And I never considered that I was only 9 years old and I was looking at it from a kid's point of view. And so my perspective for a very long time was, I'm right, this is the way it happened, and that's the end of the story. And that's fine except for one slight problem. I was still living in, listen to the word I'm using, please, reaction. What's the word? Reaction to this incident and my father, meaning that my father was still running my life. Those strings were still attached. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Yes. And that the anger and the distrust was holding me back, not him. And what most people don't realize is that in the same way we drag our emotions into our new opportunities, we drag our past relationships into our new relationships and into our future relationships, making our new and future relationships not new at all, but simply an old scene with different players that we play out. Do you understand what I'm talking about here? So what happens is there's this scene that you begin to run in your life, and all that happens is you just change players. And you go through a whole life like that. Maybe you've noticed this so far. So we're going to do a very special exercise right now, to clean up some of the old files that might be holding you back from more happiness, more success, and more love. And the exercise is called reframing the past. What's it called, please? Reframing the past. And the idea is to re-look at the past or a childhood situation from our current, possibly more mature point of view, and then consider revising that file so that it doesn't haunt us anymore. I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. Let's take a look at a color here. What color is this? Brown, right? Describe it again. Anybody else? Any thoughts? Brown. I don't get it. I'm looking at this. Everyone's saying brown, and yet I don't see it. What color is this? Was it brown or is it white? What's that? Oh, it depends on where you're coming from, huh? Interesting. How the same thing has another side. So, is it possible that this other person didn't experience or see the incident in exactly the same way you did? So what I want you to do right now is I want you to consider the incident from the other person's perspective, as if you were them, in their shoes, in their situation, with their childhood programming, their fears, their beliefs, their personal issues, and their weirdness. What would this person say about the incident from their point of view? Pretend you were them. So for example, in the situation with my dad comes home, he says, well, I come home from a hard day's work. I'm working my buns off for this family. My son, this snotty-nosed kid, comes flying up to me, accuses me of being a robber and a thief, and screaming in my face. I just blurted out the first thing that came to my mind, and I said, get out of my way. I suppose that's possible. I mean, it sounds weird, but it's possible, right? From their perspective. You know, no respect whatsoever. What's this kid screaming at me for? I got angry, I hit him. So, let's do this. Now, even though you're right, you know, I understand that. We all get it, okay? I want you to write down what their point of view might have been. And if you don't know, I want you to pretend that you're writing a movie script. And you're writing in their words and their perspective for the movie, okay? You're just going to create it out of the ethers. So, what do you think their story, their perspective could have been from their own weird way of being? You know, maybe they were even drunk at the time. I don't know, whatever it was. What was their side of the story? And if you don't know, then just make it up. Write a script. Okay, the father comes in and he was probably, had a bad day. Guy just had an argument with him. Somebody cut him off and he got really upset. And the kid was, whatever it was for you, okay? So go ahead, write that down now. Take a couple of minutes and describe their point of view. So pretend that you're them, their issues, all that. How could they have possibly seen this? Take 2 minutes and do that, please. This is critical. Now, as weird as their frame of reference might have been, how many of you found that, it's possible they saw it in a different way? Okay. So that's called reframing the file. Now, listen closely. We're just moving deeper and deeper. Peeling off the onion here. When we are angry, what's the word? Angry. It's usually about not getting what we want. And we retaliate. What's the word, please? Retaliate. By not giving the person that we're angry with what they want. Meanwhile, we usually go down the drain with them. So we may play the role of the victim. We might say something like, you want me to be a success? I'll show you. I'll be a failure just to show you. I'll show you. Yeah. Or because of you, I'm never going to be happy and successful. There, are you satisfied? So remember, the most important thing to the conditioned mind is to what? Be right. What's the word? Be right. Be right. And again, you have a choice. You can be right or you can be rich. You can be right or you can be happy. One of the two. You can hold on to it and be miserable and broke, or you can just let it go. Look at it in a different way. My parents, they always had a big dream. And their dream for me when I was young was that one day I would settle down, I would get married, have kids, be either a lawyer or an accountant. Either was okay. Live a nice, quiet life in a house just down the street so they could see the grandkids all the time. We could come over for dinner once a week, help them out whenever they needed it. That was their view, their dream, what they wanted. Well, what happened? Well, firstly, I was second born, which put me as the rebel position right from the beginning. Anybody else know what I'm talking about here? Generally, firstborns are the stars, secondborns the rebel, thirdborns confused. What can I tell you? So that's what they wanted. As the rebel, though, what actually happened? Well, I lived in 5 different cities, none of them being where they were. I had 12 different businesses during that time. I had 12 different jobs that I had tried out. And for all those years, I had no focus whatsoever, completely unsettled, and totally unsuccessful. And it was only when I did this kind of work and I realized that I was actually living in automatic reaction to what they wanted and living out of rebellion, and that's why I was doing what I was doing, that I chose to settle down for me, not having anything to do with what they wanted, what they didn't want. That was now out of the picture. I would do what would work for me to help me be happy and successful, regardless of what they wanted, didn't want, it didn't matter. Does that make sense? And that was a huge and dramatic difference for me. So it was only when I became aware of why I wasn't settled, because of the form of rebellion and reaction and retaliation, that I was able to make a new choice. Take a nice deep breath, please. This is a very critical part. Your anger and resentment only hurts who? You. You feel it, not them. It gets stuck in the cells of your body, not theirs. It makes you sick, not them. I want to read you an article. W.H. Chapman, in his book, Your Cosmic Destiny, quotes experiments in a psychology laboratory, listen closely here, where the condensate of human breath was examined. Hatred, anger, and jealousy caused different color condensates, which on analysis contained deadly poisons. The poison of a few minutes of anger will kill a guinea pig. An hour of anger and jealousy will produce enough poison to kill 80 guinea pigs. You want to know what's inside you? There's a saying that says, Holding on to anger and resentment is like drinking poison and expecting someone else to die. Research shows that 47% of all cancer is related to what? Unresolved anger. Meanwhile, the other person usually doesn't even know how you feel. My dad, when I questioned him 20 years later about the piggy bank, he barely recalled it at all. I said, remember my piggy bank? Remember how you took it and was this and that? He goes, what are you talking about? This is on my mind and runs my life every day, and he doesn't even remember? When I said, don't you remember my brown, the brown with the coins in it? Yeah, I said, with the coins that were in it. No, because what happened was the next day, I actually found the piggy bank back where it was supposed to be with the coins in it, which by then it didn't matter anymore because he was still a robber and a thief. Right? He goes, oh yeah. I said, why'd you take that? He goes, I didn't take. He says, oh yeah, the guys came over to play cards. He had a card group on Wednesday nights. Listen to this. No, it's not what you think. And he says, I remember, because we had just come back from New York again, and I remember that Sam, their cousin, had a coin collection, and I remember that about your coin collection. So I remember taking your piggy bank out to show the boys. I was very proud of you. And I showed them your nickel that you showed me that was worth $40, and your dime that was worth $160. And I pulled. I say it took me 20 minutes to get the stuff out of the thing to show them, right? And I was showing them, and then Mom came with sandwiches, and I wanted to clean up the table, and I didn't have time to, put the stuff into your little slot there. So I just put it into a little bag and threw it whole thing into my drawer. I went, what little bag? He said, yeah, it was right beside the piggy bank. It was? 20 years? And the bag was right beside the piggy bank? Well, how did I miss that? He was proud of me? Like, what was I thinking? Okay, well, he shouldn't have hit me. Well, he did. He goes, I called him a thief and a robber. And it was right in my face, right? Okay, little different perspective going on here. And so for him, it was nothing. For me, it had ruined part of my life, my business life for sure. And yet what had happened was we just both simply overreacted to an incident, yes? So all healing is a release from the past. A release from where? A release from the past. So to become fully successful and happy and in control of your own life, it's imperative that we let old angers go. So part one of this exercise was to reframe at least one anger file and put it into a new perspective. And part two, the next step and the next level, is to actually forgive those people. Even if they were wrong, even if they're still jerks. It's hard to believe, but the rule is this. Everyone always does the best they can at that time. And when you know yourself, have you ever been in the heat of the moment and you did something or said something that you wish you could have taken back? Anybody here ever done that? All right. So we know what happens. We get riled up, buttons get pushed, and we just blurt out like crazy things. Realize those people that we are angry with were merely acting out of their own conditioning from the past, based in their own fears, based in their protective mind, but not who they really are, their loving and truer and higher self. So also remember who the anger is hurting. Who's it hurting? Does that have anything to do with them? No, not hurting them. You think it's hurting them. It's not. So it's a choice. It's a what? You choose to forgive, or you choose to hold on and let that poison simmer and stick inside you. You choose to be right, or you choose to be what? Rich. You choose to be right, or you choose to be what? Happy. It's up to you. You forgive them for you. Now, listen to what I'm saying here. You don't forget, but you do forgive. Very big distinction. I am not asking you to forget. I'm asking you to forgive for yourself. Forgiveness is the magic key, because when you release them from their deed, you automatically release yourself from reacting to that deed, the energy and the anger involved in that incident, and the charge that that incident holds on you. All right. Just relax. Take everything off your lap. And just be 100% willing. Just know that, again, this has nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with releasing you and clearing you. Take a nice deep breath in and let it out. One more time, in and out. Uncross your arms, uncross your legs, be in a totally open position. Now, whether the person you've been angry with is alive or passed on, imagine that this person is sitting on a chair in front of you. And picture them listening to you with undivided attention. Eyes are closed. And picture and hear yourself telling them how much they hurt you. And now hear them actually apologize for hurting you. Saying, I made a big mistake, and I would have never done what I did had I known it would cause you so much pain. And see their pain and their sincere remorse. And hear them say, for this picture, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I did the best I could, and I know that it wasn't very good. I never wanted to hurt you. I acted out of reaction to my own stuff. My own stuff. It had nothing to do with you. And hear them say, please, please forgive me. And see them reach out to you. And now it's been too long, too much hurt, too much pain, too much useless pain. And the time has come to let your negative energy go. And so for your own sake, tell them you forgive them, or at least are willing to let it go. And realizing again that everybody, including you, only does the best they can at the time, just feel the anger leaving you now as you see and feel yourself reaching over and hugging or at least shaking hands with the person in forgiveness. And just let it go. Just like you can. Just let it go. Been way too long. Take a nice deep breath and let it go. And as you see and feel yourself hugging or shaking hands with this person in forgiveness, make that picture in full color and bring it closer to you. And now make the whole picture bigger. And see and feel it in your bodies if it's occurring right now. And again, take a nice deep breath. Smile. Open your eyes slowly. Shake it out. And let all this go. That's it. Now I'm going to invite you to actually complete with the person in your visualization. You might speak to them. You might write them a letter. You might mail it or not mail it. That's the great thing about email. After you write it, just hit delete. There you go. Regardless, here's the big key. Regardless of whether you speak to them, write them a letter, talk to them over the phone, which you get a lot of people doing, here's your clue. Please, for your own sake, who did you do this for? You. Does it have anything to do with them? No. Here's the clue. Do not expect anything from them. If you do, you are going to set yourself up for a very big surprise. Don't expect anything from them. Don't expect them to go, oh, I forgive you too, or I love you too, or all this. Forget it. It's got nothing to do with them. This is all about you, your energy. Got it? You forgive them for you. Whatever they do is totally up to them, even if they're still jerks. Let them still be jerks. It doesn't matter. All you want to do is release those poisons. Release that from stopping you. All right, thank you. So if you want to write a letter, you can do that. And if you want, you can give it to them, you can delete it, or you can burn it in a ceremony. So at the same time, though, I do invite you to complete. Remember we said before, negative energy, negative emotions are simply incomplete communications. You know what? And in general, you have to understand here, when you don't complete with somebody, that gets stuck in you. And some of these completions are very important, not only for your angers, but also for your very positive completions. You know what I'm saying? The things that you need to say to people that you haven't said to people. Those things need to be said in some way, form, or other. You get it? Because otherwise they're stuck. And then you get this resentment and guilt that occurs because you never got a chance. So I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. A little while ago, maybe a year or two ago, maybe 2 years ago, yeah, I did a whole program for a full year. I think I mentioned it in one of the tapes called the Enlightened Wealth Training. Did I mention that tape, right? The Enlightened Wealth Training. And this was a program I did in 4 different cities. And I went once a month to each city, and I did a full night seminar for them. And the first part was about money and business. The second part was the personal spiritual development, yada, yada, yada. One of the cities was Toronto, where my parents still live. And so my father and I have been on speaking terms. That's about it. So he would still pick me up from the airport every time I came in, however, and take me back to the airport. In between there, we didn't see each other very much. But that's what we did. That was a big improvement. And, you know, I get in the car and I go, hey, Dad, how's it going? And he'd go, fine. How you doing? Good. How you feeling? Fine. How's Mom? Good. This is a big improvement, by the way, okay? And this went on and on. Okay, now it was the 12th time, and I had wanted to ask him something from the time I was about 18. And now I was in my mid-40s. I'd never asked him. And here's the thing. He's 83 years old. And I'm feeling every time I see this man, like, just ask him for God's sakes. You know, you're a freaking warrior. Ask him. And that's the one stuff I can't do it. It's like something is just blocking me from doing it. And so it's the 12th month, and I knew I was trading in Toronto for Seattle because it was closer. Just the time it took was just way too much. So I knew it was the last time I was going to be teaching in Toronto. It was the 12th month. I wasn't coming back for at least another 6 months to a year just to visit family and whatnot. And we're in the car driving back to the airport, and we're about 5 minutes away from the airport. And I'm going, oh my God, just for God's sakes, would you just ask him this stupid question? And I'm going, forget it, just forget it, right? This other part of my voice. And all of a sudden, this song comes on the radio, and I'm listening to this song, and I'm going, oh God, it's like the universe giving me a message. So I said to him, I said, Dad, I have a question for you. He goes, what? That was a word I hadn't heard in a lot of years, other than fine and good, right? What? Whoa. And I said, Dad, I'm in my mid-40s, and I just want to ask you one question, and that is this. I said, how come in my entire life you have never said to me that you love me? Never. And his eyes are straight ahead, and I'm straight ahead, and I kind of just, it was quiet, and I look around, I look over, and for the first time in my entire life, I see tears rolling down my father's eyes. I had never seen him cry. Forget it. And his chin starts to quiver, and he looks at me and he says, "Don't you know you're the most important thing in my whole life?" I'm going, "No. You could have fooled me." And he's saying to me, like, "I live for you. There's nothing else for me to live for. I live to see you happy and successful." He said, you're my lucky baby. My life was a disaster. I had been in Europe in the concentration camps and the whole thing until you came and you brought luck to everyone. You're my lucky baby." And he's crying and I'm crying and there's a big mess in the